along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's claws, the birth of Nimrod, and not the son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. Hebrew Israelites. Kwam Yashala. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. Jesus is real.
I got it. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom to everybody online. Welcome to another live class with the Israelites School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. I'm Priest Quatazat. To my left is Priest Laka Rob. We're located at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. Our class times are Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m., Friday from 6 to 9 p.m., Shabbat morning class from 10 to 2. If you're local in Houston, come out and join us. Feel free. We welcome everyone. If you're in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Newport News area, we got a school at 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. If you're in the San Antonio area, we have a school, in Virginia's class times are Tuesday and Thursday from 7 to 10. Friday from 6 to 9, and then they don't have Sabbath ceremony, not yet, at least, okay? So Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, 7 to 10, and then 6 to 9. If you're in San Antonio, we have a school at 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas, 78217. Their class times are Tuesday through Friday. I believe they go 7 to 10 also. If you're in Albuquerque, we have a school at 7710 Medial Boulevard, Suite F, San Antonio, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87110. All right. We also have our ISBHPK or Hidden Truth cable show every Saturday at 8:30. That's live on Comcast local channel 17, or you can stream it on hmstv.org, all right, if you're not in Houston. We also do our kids class every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 p.m. on Saturday is kids class. If you're local, once again, you gotta come join us. We're not broadcasting the kids class online. To catch previously recorded kids classes, you gotta go to ISBHPK Kids on YouTube, okay? As well as we got the ISBHPK Virginia class, we got ISBHPK Houston, ISBHPK San Antonio, and ISBHPK Albuquerque. So all those schools got YouTube channels, so you can subscribe. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, give a thumbs up to the videos. The more thumbs up, the more the videos get circulated. All right. You can also catch the Blog Talk Radio show that Mashaba does every Tuesday and Thursday. blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, MASHAHBA, Tuesday and Thursday starting at 9:30 a.m. to about 12. And then it's a podcast, so you can go on there, download it to your podcast player. It'll automatically upload when they upload, and then you get all the previous from years back. They've been doing this Blog Talk Radio, man, like 8 years. And then Kawakab got one too out there in Guatemala, so for the Spanish speakers. Okay? He's been doing his for a while too. He's been in Guatemala almost 20 years. The upcoming feast, the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. All right, that's on the 27th of September. That's a Friday. There will be no class that week. where we commemorated the feast. So keep that in mind. We didn't disappear. We just ain't having class during the feast week. That's September the 27th. All right. If you like any garments made, Israel Wear is taking orders. You go to Facebook, search everything Israel Wear, and they can get you anything you want made. Armbands, headbands, stuff for the sisters. They do purses, right? What else y'all do? Y'all do purses, pocketbooks, stuff for the guys, stuff for the women. Yeah, she's a magician with that needle and thread. We got the sisters are doing the unity garments. These are for the brothers that go out street speaking. They're doing the unity garments, the black and gold tunic and girdle. The due date for your shaquall to get that in is the 31st. So again, the unity garment, I know everybody online is asking how much for the unity garments. The unity garments are for the brothers that come and street speak so that we can be in unity. If you do want a black and gold garment, hit up Israel Wear. They'll set that up for you on a separate, do that separately away from the unity garments. Okay? If you need to reach a teacher, you can reach Priest Kazakia. He's at 281-707-2737. I can be reached at 303-557-8979. You can email us at isbhbk@isbhbk.org for any questions or concerns if you don't want to text. Any donations, alms, priest funds, whatever you want to call it, anything you want to give. We got the Google Wallet. We got the Wells Fargo account. If you want to do monetary donations, any books, pens, papers, office supplies, anything you want to give that's going to help further the educational process of your people, you can mail them to any one of the schools. Any one of the schools in San Antonio, in Virginia, here in Houston, or out there in Albuquerque. All right? That's going to be it for the announcements. You sure? Let me just make sure. Y'all got any questions?
How do you how do you use that Google Wallet or?
Oh, the Google Wallet? You just gotta set it up on your phone.
Okay, it's like an app you have to download.
If you got an Android, I think it already comes with it. No, then you gotta just download it. And it sets up to you can set it up to a debit card or bank account.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you send money, it sends via a phone number or an email address, and it just deducts it right from your bank account. Or you can use.
So it's Google Wallet. That's it.
Google Wallet, yeah. Google Pay. They call it Google Pay. Yeah, Google Pay. If you look it up.
And who you send it to once you download the app? Google Pay.
Ours is isbhbk@gmail. isbhbk@gmail.
Priest, I got a question for you too. Like, just say for instance, like, we're not too. I mean, because I'm tech savvy, but I'm saying, like, what if I want to? Because I'm.
Right, if you're not tech savvy, I'll be careful.
I'm saying, like, do you have like a box or something that we could put donations in, like, for monetary, or you want it to go strictly like to Google Wallet and stuff?
Well, they could go. They could go to a Wells Fargo and deposit, or you can. You can bring it here. You can mail it. Yeah, you can mail. You can mail. You can mail it. You know, I don't recommend mailing cash.
I'm saying, like, if I come to class, I want to.
Oh yeah, if you come to class, yeah, we got envelopes. You can fill it out, and we take it here too. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It don't have to be. It don't have to be electronic. That's just for we got a lot of people online that want to give, and that's just like the easiest way. It's easy, it's quick. You can put right what it's for, right in the app. Boom.
But you got envelopes we can give right here.
Yes, sir.
At school, right?
Yes, sir. We can do all that right after class.
Okay.
All right.
And you can give out a debit card too, or is it just cash at this?
Let's deal with that after.
Okay.
Yeah, let's deal with that after. Anything else biblically? Any biblical questions? I mean, if not, he got a good class.
Yeah.
He got a good one. It's pretty lengthy. So I mean, you know how we do. We'll take questions. We don't want to. We don't want to run from questions.
Yeah.
But he got a lot of info here. and we want to get through it. Nothing?
Alrighty.
Wait. Nothing? All right. Well, we're going to get into the class. Kim, anything? Questions? I ain't put you on the spot. I'm just asking. Got nervous. She was like, wait a minute. How you know my name? All right. Well, we're gonna get into the class then. There's nothing online.
Con. So today's class is going to be titled, Why Did the Israelites Get Conquered? So we're going to go into why, because you know that was something I always wondered before I learned that I was an Israelite, before I learned about the truth. I always used to wonder, all right, so y'all say that Jesus is love. Y'all say that God is love. So if God is love, why did he put us in slavery? And why did he allow the things that happen to us to happen to us? And still to this day, why is it that we went through what we went through, and still to this day we're still going through the things that we're going through? And this is before I learned the truth. So we're going to be touching on why we went through slavery, why we were conquered. We're going to touch on a lot of things that happened to us while we were being conquered, things that weren't taught to us in school, things that you would have to research just to find out. So the first scripture we're going to start with is Deuteronomy 32. We're going to start at verse 15. No, actually, we're going to start at Deuteronomy. Let's start at Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1.
I'll read for you. I got it. This is Deuteronomy. Let me know when y'all get there.
Chapter 28.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 2.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So right here we got Moses. Moses is only talking to the Israelites, the 12 tribes. And he's saying if we would listen diligently, meaning closely to the words which he's going to speak. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So we know if we would have listened, we would have been set above every race, above every nation that's on this planet. Jump to verse 15.
Verse 15.
But obviously we didn't listen. Go ahead.
And from verse 28, from verse 2 on down to 14 is all the blessings that the Most High was going to give us, they were good blessings, man. Right? Verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if we wouldn't listen, all these curses will come upon us and overtake us, right? So obviously, with the state and everything that we've been through and the things that we're still going through, obviously we did not listen. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19. When Kanye West, this was like a year ago, Kanye West came out and said that slavery was a choice.
I love that he said that, because he was right.
He was absolutely right. Slavery was a choice. It's right here. The Most High has given us the choice. He's saying if you listen, you'll be set above all nations that's upon the face of the earth. But if you don't listen, then all these curses is going to come upon you and overtake you. So everything that we go through, man, from Judah all the way to Issachar, all the negative things that we go through, unfortunately, man, we chose it. Us and our forefathers, we chose it.
And we know that the ultimate curse was the 68th verse in Deuteronomy 28, where it said that he will bring us into Egypt again with ships. Egypt being slavery and bondage, being a ship, and we wouldn't want our land, we wouldn't know our language, our heritage, right? And we would be sold into slavery for bondmen and bondwomen, slave men, slave women. So we know the ultimate hit at the end of those curses was slavery. Right? So where you want me to go?
We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 19.
Deuteronomy 30 verse 19.
Go ahead.
I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
So from Exodus all the way up until this point right here in Deuteronomy, Moses The Most High, through Moses, gave us all the laws, statutes, and commandments that we were to live by. He told us in Deuteronomy 28, the blessings and the curses. If you listen, this is what's going to happen. If you keep the commandments, you listen, this is what's going to happen. If you don't want to listen, these are the curses. This is what's going to happen onto you. But the thing is that we had a choice. Go ahead.
That I have set before you life and death.
So, the Most High set before us life and death. Go ahead.
Blessing and cursing.
Go ahead.
Therefore choose life, that both you and thy seed shall live.
So, Moses said to choose life, that us and our seed will live, right? But this is the thing. We got to choose life every day. It's not just a one-time thing. It's not just, oh yeah, me and my house, we gonna serve the Lord, and we say that once, and then we don't even think upon the Lord no more. Nah, man, you choose life every day. As soon as you wake up, you gonna pray or not? When you finna eat, what you gonna do? You gonna eat the lawful food or you not? You gonna be excessive in your eating, or are you gonna balance yourself out when you eat? You choose life in every decision that you gotta make. You got a choice. It's either life or death. But Moses is showing us right here that choose life, that way you may live, and that way you may have a blessing. But see, when you start choosing life all the time, and it's all of your decisions, then what happens is the Most High blesses you. Like it says, choose, I set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. But see, we chose the correct thing so much that what happens is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 15. After a while, choosing life and getting blessed all the time, this is what happens.
Deuteronomy 32 verse 15.
Go ahead.
Y'all got it? Con. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked.
That Jeshurun is talking about us.
Right,
Like
the upright one.
the upright one.
Right?
We waxed fat and we kicked. We've been choosing life. The Most High has been blessing us. Everything's been going good. So what happens is the Most High blesses us with all these things, and what happens? We wax fat and we kick. We get comfortable. That's the quickest way for you to get off the path. Because Christ was never comfortable. Christ didn't have a place to lay his head. Christ didn't have like the basic necessities. It says he was rich, but for our sakes he became poor. But see, us, we became comfortable. So when you become comfortable, you start getting lackadaisical. You don't care no more. It's like you see it all the time. You see it all the times with these athletes, man. They get that big contract. It's their contract year. You see it all the time in football. They bust their butt, and then they get that contract, and that's it.
You know, more defense.
I can't lie. I'll do the same. If I was in the world, I'll bust my butt. You gonna pay me my big contract, and that's it. That's all you get. Come on, man. That's all Esau owes it. But we wax fat and we kick. We start forgetting about the Most High. We stop putting the Most High first. Go ahead.
Thou art covered with fatness.
Go ahead.
And he forsook the Most High, which made him.
And that's the thing. We get comfortable. We get covered with fatness, and we forsake the Most High. The Most High don't come first no more. Go ahead.
And lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
Jump to Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 21. So when this starts to happen, the Most High still loved us though. The Most High still sent prophets, still sent us teachers to at least try to get us back on the right path. But there's something about when you get like that. When you get everything that you want, when you get everything that you need, nobody can tell you nothing. Kanye West said in the song, you can't tell me nothing.
Wait till I get my money right.
You can't tell me nothing. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah chapter 22 and verse 21.
Go ahead.
I spake unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou saidest, I will not hear.
Why? Because we're prosperous. We were prospering. It's just like these rich people. That's why the scripture says it'll be hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Why? Because he got everything. You got everything. You trying to come to him and you trying to let him know, bro, you're an Israelite. This is why we went through This is why we're going through things we're going through. He's like, bro, I got money. What am I going through? I'm not going through nothing. You going through something. You broke.
Yeah, you cursed. Not me.
You broke. I got dope. I can get anything I need. I don't gotta work.
It's kind of like thinking gain is godliness.
Exactly. They think the gain is godliness. That gain becomes their God. So how can you come to them and be like, nah, there's the Most High. And then when the Most High is talking about humbling themselves, they ain't with that. They got dope. They're prosperous. See, that's what happened to us. Read it from the top.
Verse 21, Jeremiah 22 and verse 21. I spake unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou saidest, I will not hear.
Go ahead.
This hath been thy manner from thy youth.
It said it's been our manner from our what?
Our youth.
From our youth. We will not listen unto the Most High, man. Think about it. Just think about it. We were slaves in Egypt working 10-week work shifts.
10-day work weeks.
10-day work weeks. Imagine working your butt off for 10 days. I mean, we work 5 days now. Most of us are off 2 days, Saturdays and Sundays, if we're lucky. But we work that and we'll work an 8-hour shift. But back then in Egypt, we working 10 days straight. 10 days straight, and the shifts are longer. And what we're doing is not sitting around a desk. Nah, man, we're moving boulders. We're getting whipped for moving these boulders. A lot of us, when you look at a lot of the slaves back in Egypt, a lot of us had broken arms, broken foots, broken backs. Because as we're bringing these bricks up to the pyramid, a lot of us were falling off. So we're falling off and breaking our feet, breaking our back, breaking our hands, and we still got to work. But the Most High took us from that, and He's bringing us through the Exodus, and He's bringing us into our land. That's when you can say our nation was born. But even then, in the wilderness, we still wouldn't listen to the Most High. That's why it's saying it's been that this had been thy manner from thy youth, from the time we were conceived as a nation, man. We would not listen unto the Most High. We'll tell the Most High, man, I'd rather go back to Egypt. We had onions growing there. That's what we said? We had onions?
Onions and leeks in the flesh pot. We wanted to go back to that. We wanted to go back to the easy life. We didn't want to have faith. When we were in the wilderness, we didn't want to have faith that the Most High didn't bring us out there to starve or make our children pray or bring us out there to die of thirst.
Right. So
we would rather go back to Egypt, serve the hard bondage, and get the little dainty rewards of food.
Right.
Carnal minded.
It's no different than here, though. A lot of us, when we come into the truth, and then when the Most High starts testing us, starts trying us, we want to go back out into the world because we miss smoking weed, we miss selling dope, getting easy money, we miss partying on a Friday night and a Saturday night. We miss doing certain things. We miss that old man, so we want to go back and do that. And we don't see that the Most High took us from something bad. Jump to
Can we finish that?
Oh yeah, go ahead. And then we'll jump to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 21.
This hath been thy manner from thy youth, that thou obeyedest not my voice.
Now we're gonna jump to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 21. So that's just to show, all right.
32 and 21.
Yes, sir. So those first couple scriptures was just to show who really got us into bondage and got us into the estate
Can I get one?
that we're in right now.
Can I get one? Go to Jeremiah 16 and 6 real quick. So this is another one. Just to go along with that Jeremiah 21 that we hit. Or you got it in there?
Nah, actually, I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go to Jeremiah 16 and 6.
Okay, God.
6 and Jeremiah 6 and 16.
6 and 16?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bro. Jeremiah 6 and 16.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
Stand ye in the ways, and see and ask for the old path.
See, he said, "Stand ye in the ways." This was always the Most High pleading with Israel and saying, "Listen, look at the way things were done the right way in righteousness. Stand in the ways. Learn from the good example." Go ahead.
Where is the good?
Where is the what?
Where is the good way?
No, where is the way to smoke weed?
Where's the good way?
No, the alcoholic path.
Where is the good way?
No, I gotta make my own path.
Where is the good way?
Go ahead.
And walk therein.
And he said, walk therein. Go ahead, read.
And ye shall find rest for your soul.
And that's why Israel ain't at rest to this day, because we want to be trailblazers. We want to be trendsetters. Oh, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna create my own way. But that's how we thought. Listen, we thought all the way back like this in the wilderness. Remember the man that was gathering sticks on the Sabbath? He wanted to create his own thing, and that's why he was put to death. That's why he died. But that's why our people died. That's why we getting caught up in slavery. That's why you become a slave to America, because you're like, you know what? I gotta do me. I gotta get my own thing going instead of saying, wait a minute, what does the nation need? You know, I talk to a lot of brothers, man, and you know, brother hit me up about a brother hit me up talking about Israelite music, and I was like, well, me, I don't have time to really listen to too much music, and you know, I'm not really into the Israelite music. I got nothing against it, but a lot of brothers that are into the music, they're more into the music than they are into actually studying to teach. They're into studying to be able to link up precepts that rhyme. So they'll read it and be like, oh, that's a good ass rhyme, right? And I'm like, no, the scriptures say the righteous study to answer. So they try to blaze their own path of righteousness. Well, I'm doing Israelite music, so this is the way. But where was Moses at when it was music time? Where was David at? Where was Solomon at? Where was Paul at? Paul set up churches. I ain't hear one time where he was like, let's get the rappers out. Right? Let's get the praise team. Right? He said, listen, set up elders, ordain elders in the church so they can teach. Right? Now, ain't nothing wrong with music. I'm not going against the Israelite musical community. I'm not banging. Right? I'm not going in. But what I'm saying is this. If the focus is more on these things, music and I got to build my clothing label off the Israelite name. Right? I got to build my clothing label, my music label. I got to get my endorsements off of Israel and not studying to teach, following the old path. That's why it don't work. But that's why Israel be in so much turmoil, because it's like, well, first of all, you didn't study to teach. You studied to battle doctrine, right? Which, to me, that's pointless. Yahweh Shai is going to come set all doctrine. He's going to come and wipe out all doctrine. Right? And he's going to tell us what it is. From what your true nationality is, what your true tribe is. We talked about this today. He's going to tell you what your tribe is. So you sitting here, yeah, I'm Judah. I'm repping Judah. Right? He's going to come back like, nah, bro, you Issachar, stop. And what you going to do? Be like, nah, Yahweh Shai, I'm Judah. I'm Benjamin. Right? What you going to do? Fight it? No. He's going to wipe all that and set it perfect. Because we don't know. Now, the old path, what is it saying that we got to look at? Ecclesiastes, real fast. I'm not going to take over. I'm not going to take over. I just got to hit this real fast. Ecclesiastes 2. This is the problem with Israel. Why we get in to so much turmoil in our lives. Ecclesiastes 2:10. But hold that Jeremiah.
Okay.
Ecclesiastes 2:10.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 10.
Read.
Look at the generations of old.
Right. See, he said, look at the generations of old. Now we know we're not there with Moses. We're not there with Adam, Methuselah, Noah. But he said, look at what they did. Was Noah worried about wrapping in clothes when the Most High told him to build the ark? Did he say, well, you know what, Yahweh, I know you told me to build this ark, but me, I got to go do my clothing label, dog. I got to set these bars up. I got bars to drop on this track. Nah. But imagine if he did. He would have been creating his own path. A lot of Israel, I'm dealing with Israel that know they're Israel. A lot of Israel is on, well, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to unite. I'm not going to study to teach my people, sit them down and be able to take them precept upon precept, line upon line. I can rap to you, but who does that really teach? right? Especially when all the songs is just hating on the white man and hating on this person and hating on that person and hating this nation and hate that nation. But again, going with his point, how come you ain't talking about what we did? How come nobody ever talks about what Israel did? Our stubbornness, our rebelliousness, our hard-headedness, our stiff-neckedness, I just made that word up, right? How come nobody ever talks about that in their music? How come we don't point the finger, like take the finger guns and just point the thumbs at ourselves, right? How come we never do that? Well, because it's not entertaining to do that. It's more entertaining to bang on Esau, right? Banging on Esau, right? It's more entertaining to do that. More entertaining to sell clothes and do all these other things that, yeah, we'll need them. We'll need it. It's good to have Israelite music, right? Because then you ain't got to listen to the trash out there. But what's even better is that we teach. That we have the answers to teach our people. Follow the old paths. He said, look at the generations of old. What was Moses? Was Moses not a teacher and a leader? What was David? What was Solomon? Paul, right? Timothy, Titus, Apollos, Barnabas, the 12, Yahushua. Were they worried about record deals and making music? I don't know why I'm going on this music thing so hard. It just popped in my head. But because I look at Israel and I'm like, y'all want to still entertain more than learn. You want to entertain and still try to assimilate the world into our culture instead of breaking away from all that, getting yourself right, and then that'll come. David had musicians. But guess what? Guess who David's chief musicians were, first and foremost? What was their job? They were priests. Asaph, priest musician, he was a Levite priest. So they knew the priesthood, and then the music was part of it. It wasn't the forefront. Or the sewing of the garments and things. Those weren't the forefront things. Those were the secondhand things, but I guarantee you they could take you through that law like it was nothing. I guarantee it, because they took the law and the Bible and everything serious. Right? So follow the old paths. Go ahead.
And see, did ever any trust in the Lord?
Right?
And was confounded?
Read.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Right, because when Moses was set to go free Israel, that's what he went and did. He didn't go in front of Pharaoh like, yo, let me rap for you. Let me do this and that I wasn't sent to do. He went and did his job. You're a nation of kings and priests, first and foremost, right? Ain't that what we called to do?
Yes.
So that's what we need to do. But the problem even with Israel now is we want to graft in something else other than being priests. Be a priest first, and then let everything else follow. Because if not, guess what's going to happen? Go back to Jeremiah. Go back to Jeremiah 6:16.
Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see.
Read.
And ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein.
Right.
And ye shall find rest for your souls.
And this is why Israel ain't coming to rest. We ain't got peace. We ain't got rest. We don't got comfort. We don't got blessings. Because we're not walking the old path. Go ahead.
But they said, we will not walk.
What did they say?
We will not walk.
Yeah, because we're going to do what we want. Israel's so hard-headed, even with the Bible and knowing that we curse, you're like, you know what? I'm going to just do me. I'm going to be an independent Israelite, right? I'm going to be isolated. I'm going to be an army of one. I'm going to be by myself. You niggas is wicked. I can't get around with nobody. Brothers don't understand me. Like, no, the Bible says to come together. Unify. That's the path. Didn't Moses unify the nation? He brought us from Egypt, where we were divided, believe it or not. Because you had some of us that wanted to be with the Egyptians. You had some of us that wanted to be like the Egyptians. So they needed a sign to wake the hell up and say, okay, come from under that. Or continue to be a slave. So Moses unified the nation. Solomon unified the nation. Paul was trying to unify the nation. With all his travels, that was his mission. Let me get my people that think that they're the heathen. That's what our mission is supposed to be. Not doing our own thing to get some Facebook, garbage, YouTube recognition. I hate YouTube. Tell you straight up. Me and Kazak talk about this all the time. I'm like, bro, I can't wait for YouTube to crash. So that way I don't got to be on it. I don't want to be on YouTube. I don't want to be on Facebook. We're on it to get our people, to wake up more people. But some of y'all don't even care though. It's like you take the YouTube for granted. You take it for granted. And me, I'm just like, man, I'd rather not be on here. I want to go back to the old way, where you want in class, you have to show the hell up. You have to show up, bro. When I came into the truth, there was no camera in YouTube. YouTube was Sharon, when she came in YouTube, there was no Facebook Live and Messenger and all. No, you want in class, you have to show up and sit here for.
Or move to that city if you want.
Or you have to move to that city. And you have to sit in class for however long it went. 8 hours, 7 hours. That's on a weeknight. Right? But the point is, man, Israel tries to do their own thing, and that's why we get caught up. That was like that from the beginning. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21.
Yes, sir.
They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Yahweh.
And that's the thing, man. We move the Most High to jealousy with things that's not a power. Another word for God is, when you translate into Hebrew, it's power.
Power.
So they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not a power. We make other things take precedent over the Most High. Remember what the first commandment says: thou shalt have no other gods before me, or thou shalt have no other powers before me. So what we'll put in front of the Most High. Look at how a lot of our women put Beyonce, Church of Bay, part of the Beehive, or whatever that madness is. But a lot of our sisters, they'll put Beyonce over the Most High. They'll put the pastoral religion over the Most High, over what the book says. Christianity, Christmas. The list goes on. Brothers and sisters will put anything over the Most High. But we move the Most High to answer to anger or to jealousy with things that shouldn't even move us.
Things that don't even have power, man.
Yeah.
Things. Listen, when you worshiping your woman, first of all, no woman should have power over you. You worshiping your car, you worshiping, like I see the video. Everybody seen this photo. Mayweather, he sat at the table. He had like 1 million gold pieces of jewelry. Did you see that? Did y'all see that? He was sitting at the table, like a Versace bathrobe on, Versace hat. He was sitting there, and then this table was probably the size of that, but it was covered in watches, and it was probably bigger. He was sitting there, and it was just covered in watches from one end to the other, and chains and rings. And I'm like, damn, like, this dude got a problem. He really thinks that that's the key. His watches, his money, his car. You put these things before the Most High, man, your end is going to come swiftly.
It's funny because you got the kind. I was just going to say that pride before destruction and haughtiness before a fall. So it's like you putting all that. That's what you take pride in. But then when you fall, Most High is just building them up to make them fall, man. Just like he did Pharaoh in Egypt. He just let them get built higher and higher and higher, so that fall is great. It's just like this country. When this country falls, it's going to be so great that you're going to know, man, only the Most High made this place fall. They got nuclear weapons. They got all kinds of weaponry that we don't know about. They'll shoot a missile in here and it'll just kill me, but everybody else survives. They got some real high-tech weaponry. But that's why when they fall, you're going to be like, yeah, the Most High is the one that did this. Not only was it prophesied and written, but even if it wasn't prophesied and written, it had to take another power just to bring down this wicked-ass country, this wicked-ass place. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Deuteronomy 32, verse 21.
Yes, sir.
They moved me to jealousy with that which is not God.
Go ahead.
They have provoked me to anger with their vanity.
And see, we don't even consider it. I mean, of course we consider it here, but our people, our nation, they're not even considering, man, that we're pissing off the Most High with our vainlessness. I guess I should say. I don't think that's the right word. But we're so vain. Come on, man. When you look at somebody that's vain, that got tattoos all over their face. When you listen to these rappers nowadays, tattoos all over their face, they're not talking about nothing. Don't that piss you off? Or you're like, man, I gotta change that. I want to hear you. But imagine what the Most High is feeling. Imagine what the Most High is thinking when he looks at that. If they're pissing you off, imagine how the Most High is looking at them. But then when you look at our nation, when you look at our women, like we work in the mall, so we be seeing it. Like, I kid y'all not, last night, I was going into my apartment, and this lady, this Israelite lady, she was walking with her 2 sons. I thought she was walking to the pool, but she was walking outside the gate to this car that was outside the gate. Dude.
What she have on? A swimsuit?
Bruh, she might as well have been wearing panties.
Oh, yeah.
Bruh, she had her 2 young sons. They're 2 and looked like they were 2 and 4 years old. Bro, her butt cheeks were out. How you just walking through the apartments like that? I'm thinking she walking to the pool.
And even then, walking to the pool, cover up before you get there.
Yeah, even
have a decent
decent
apparel.
But look at the mind of our people though. Like you'll go to a public swimming pool like that, wearing a bikini, but a bikini is no different than a bra and a panty.
Right.
You wearing it, you showing it off. You'll feel embarrassed if you were caught in your bra and your panty, but you won't feel embarrassed if you're wearing it.
You go out there in the string bikini to go swim. Yeah.
You won't feel embarrassed, but that's why it says that the Most High is angry with their vanities. We do so much vanity, but even in the truth, how do we not do vanity knowing the truth? It's by doing what the word says.
Yeah, not trying to put old wine in new bottles. That's how. Not trying to stitch on a patch on a new garment. That's how. You gotta put all the old things away. We gotta remember, man, everything you did out in the world before you got the truth, who was it taught to you by? Well, it was taught to you by your oppressor. Let's use that word since we're dealing with slavery craft. It was taught to you by your oppressor. Everything from your diet to your way of thinking, your way of reasoning, your way of justifying things was taught to you by your oppressor. So he taught you the way he wanted things done. So all that gotta go out the door. From the way you picked your relationship, from the way you raised your children, from the holidays, from the way you ate, all has to change. The way you worship the Most High, everything has to change. Everything got to be put in a garbage bag and left out the door. Now, do you come with certain talents that the Most High gave you? Of course. Hang on to those things. There are certain talents that Israel, because we're a talented people, He gave us talents, right? So there are talents that you're going to come into the truth with that you do want to hang on to. But the things that were taught by society to you, that's what you got to leave off of. That's what the Most High looks at as vain. You know, when you read in, where was it, in Amos, where he said, bring no more vain oblations. And he said, I don't recognize your feast days, your new moons. Why? Because that was Israel trying to be Israel, but trying to be the world and trying to serve the Most High. He's like, I don't want that. I don't want any of that. I don't want your feasts. I don't want your burnt incense. I don't want your offerings. Why? Because a beard and fringes don't mean that that's it. A beard and fringes, then you're going to do wickedness and then try to come offer sacrifice. I don't want it. But that's how Israel be doing it. It's like I got my beard, I got my fringes. It's like saying I got my drink and my two-step. Right? You got those. It's like Israel just be all about those two things. Like I got my Sabbath on point. No, you don't. No, you don't. Especially if you're by yourself. You don't got it on point. And then I'm gonna do the Sabbath my way, but then I'm gonna come and do the feast day this way. I'm gonna gather for the Passover because it says that. But for the Sabbath, I'm by myself. Or I ain't talking to nobody, or I ain't looking at nobody. That's not what the Most High wants.
You're like my uncle in his closet.
Or yeah, like your famous uncle, man. I gotta meet this guy.
You're not, because he's gonna be in his closet.
I'm gonna meet him outside the Sabbath. But that's the mentality. But the Most High is like, that mentality is not gonna work for me.
Okay.
That's vanity. Go ahead.
And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
So the Most High said He'll move us to jealousy with those that are not a people, right? Now I want you to really think about it. Just think about it. When He says those that are not a people, because we're going to go into some things that those people did onto us, but just really sit here and consider, like, when you look at the world, like, these people have no moral codes. That's supposed to be sparking something in us, like, man, I got to do more. It's got to be something else. Like, if you don't know about the truth, you should be looking at the world right now and be like, man, something is wrong. This ain't right. This ain't it. This ain't life.
Something is off.
Just when you look at people. Come on, man. Just my little sister, she was a senior. She just graduated from high school. But there was a video going around in high school. One of the kids brought it to me and showed me in the mall. This Edomite chick, she recorded herself with her dog and posted it online. But the scripture says the Most High is going to move us to jealousy with those which are not a people. Are you that retarded? You going to post that online? Why would you post that online?
No.
Why would you even do it?
Why would you do it?
But-
Why would you have sex with your dog?
But think about it. But you posted it. That's like,
Well, just doing it and then recording it, you might as well post it.
yeah,
right?
it's already like that bad.
But it should. But think about that though. See, we in here laughing about it like it's weird, but it ain't weird to them. How come it ain't weird to Esau to be able to go marry his dolphin? Right? How come it ain't weird for him to go have sex with, for a man to have sex with another man? How come that ain't weird? And us, we like, wait, what? You passing laws to make this official? And then you gonna teach the kids? Wait, and then pedophilia? Wait a minute, you changing the bathrooms? We sitting back like, whoa. And they're like, no, we gotta make this thing happen, Jimmy. We gotta put this in the law because everyone should have, everyone needs a piece of this. Everyone needs a transgender bathroom in their community.
And then the way they talk, the way they bring it across, you're really like, man, your foot almost slipped like the scripture says. You're really like, man, maybe they were born like
the
that.
bewitching of naughtiness, like it says in
Yeah.
the scriptures, the way they bring it to you.
Right.
I got one.
It's like how they do it in rap music. When you listening to the beat and you listening to their flow and you're watching the video, you're like, oh man, that shit went hard. But then you really look up the lyrics and you're like, what? You're like, damn, what? You try to rap with it and you're like, damn, I'm really listening to this right now. Or R&B music, you listening to that and it's like, damn, that's how they do.
And yeah, you listen to R&B music and it sounds so soothing to the soul, and you're like, damn, it's my jam. I'm gonna do something with my girl. Man, this nigga Sam Smith, man, he's putting it down for me. First of all, he's gay, so he's singing to a man. And then he got you, then you bumping it like,
Oh, bro.
and then, right, but then, the spirit is to simp down to your woman, right?
Okay.
But then it puts you in this emotional state of mind. They know how to get to you. They know how to put things out there in a way. Watch, go to Daniel real quick.
You know, it's funny you bring that out. I was listening to
Go to Daniel 7:25.
I was listening to the Shylights
The
last night.
Shylights.
You know that song they got called "Old Girl"? Old girl, I mean,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a cold song, but when you really think about it,
You
as
be like-
relating to the scriptures, you're like, damn, man, y'all simping right.
Like, damn, if my girl left me, they really make you think. Like, if she left, your life would be over.
Yeah.
R. Kelly had everybody thinking, like, if their girl left them, they wouldn't be able to breathe. They wouldn't be able to eat. They wouldn't be able to sleep. And you thought, you were like, damn, you're right, girl. You can't leave me because I won't be able to eat, sleep, breathe, talk, function. But the scriptures say don't give the woman the power over you like that.
Yeah.
Don't give the woman the power, but this nation that is not a people, they know how to bring things to Israel in a way where we're like, damn, they got a point. Think about it. They got half our nation running around being faggots. They got half our nation, man, running around being faggots and lesbians. And they don't see nothing wrong with it. They'll defend the faggot more than they'll defend a black woman. Will defend a faggot more than she'll defend a black man. I guarantee it. You can do it. You can set it up if you want. Put a black man there getting beat up by a cop and put a faggot getting beat by a cop. And make him a white faggot at that. Guess what'll happen? She'll defend that faggot before she'll defend her own.
That's right.
Because she's been taught that it's homosexuality first. This is our policy. This is what we want. And then the Black Lives Matter, but they're at the bottom. It's the white man that matters, gay people, animals, and then the black man is right down there at the bottom.
That's right.
Think about it. How many cops got locked up for a year for shooting a black man? And Michael Vick got put in jail for hanging a damn dog. I mean, come on, man. Dogs got more rights than us.
God.
But that's what America does. They know how to do it. Watch. Read Daniel 7:25.
Daniel chapter 7 verse 25.
Jump back.
And he shall speak great words.
No,
against-
Daniel 8:25.
Okay, God.
Daniel 8:25.
Daniel chapter 8 verse 25.
Uh-huh.
And through his policy.
And through his what?
Policy.
Come on.
Also he shall cause craft to prosper.
He shall cause craft to prosper.
Con.
All the different things that are being pushed out there to our people, through his policy, he causes that to prosper. Listen, homosexuality is a strong, strong demon, man. But they make it seem like love is love, right? And they'll advertise it. They'll change your Xbox logo to the rainbow. They'll change the Apple logo. They'll change all your favorite brands during Gay Pride Month to a rainbow. See, it's all for the kids. See, it's all love. Skittles,
Oh,
right?
Change the brand.
They change the rainbow to a rainbow, damn it. But they'll change it through their policies. Then they'll give you laws like if you speak against homosexuality, now you'll be locked up. Remember, homosexuality at one point was illegal. Sodomy was an illegal act. They call it a victimless crime, but it was illegal to sodomize in the United States. But now all of a sudden it's legal. Love is love, right? And they stand in front of Congress and they give you what's the new bill that just passed for the fags? The Fair Act. It was like they call it like they named it online like the Homosexual Reparations Act, but it's called like the Fair Act or something like that.
Yeah, they got money.
And they gave him $67 million.
Yeah.
They gave him $67 million, but niggas is talking about 40 acres and a mule. What is that gonna do? What is 40 acres and a mule gonna do for you? It ain't gonna do nothing, man. Because all you gonna do, you gonna get your 40 acres and a mule, and then it's gonna be right next to another brother that you don't like, and y'all gonna fight over the land. No, that's my mule. No, but that's my mule. Because we ain't got no unity. We ain't got no love.
It's like even right now, like you got the ADOS movement, which is African descendants of slaves, and they're trying to get reparations for the Judites that we here in America. But it's like, that's good. They should get their money because they deserve it, but our people's mind is so gone that even when they get that money, it's like
You gonna pump it right back to the white man.
They gonna get it right back.
Dave Chappelle talked about it, right? He said
Yeah.
Sprint went up, Cadillac went up, right? All these carnal things, because that's what we do. We'll get 40 acres of a mule and to sell it all back anyway for the money. Trade in the mule, trade in the land, and you get money, and then we're gonna blow the money on this foolishness. But go ahead, read on.
In his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart.
Ain't that what? Remember, the Most High said He's gonna put us under captivity under a people that's not a people.
Oh, yeah.
No, you just read that, right?
Yeah.
But see but since they're in control, they get to pass the policies and put themselves above the Most High, put themselves as God. Remember when we were in slavery? Ain't that what they did? I'm God. Jesus is white. If I'm Jesus, obey me. If you don't obey me, you're gonna go to hell. That's how they got us. And then you can't read, you can't go into it to understand the Bible to see that God is black, Christ is black. So you don't obey me. Go ahead.
Okay,
You can read it from the top.
Okay. Daniel chapter 8 verse 25. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper.
Go ahead.
In his hand, and he shall magnify himself.
Right, in his hand, in his works. Go ahead.
He shall magnify himself in his heart.
Right.
And by peace.
And by what?
And by peace.
And by what?
Peace.
Yeah, love is love. Let's all just join hands.
I seen this.
Right? Got Common. Remember when Common came out? Common came out, man. Man, Common just turned into the biggest coon ever because.
Oh yeah.
You can't go from dissing Ice Cube the way he does Ice Cube to talk about we should just love white people. We should just love white people and then it'll be okay. Remember when he came out with that? If we just love white people more, it'll be all good. Right? By peace, they destroy many. Go ahead.
And by peace shall destroy many.
Come on.
he shall also stand up against the prince of princes.
Yeah, we're going to take the Bible out of the schools. We're going to change the church up a little bit. We ain't going to believe in Jesus no more. Right? Go ahead.
But he shall be broken without hand.
Right, but that's going to be what's going to happen to this base man. That's what's going to happen, man, because when you changing up the Bible and taking scriptures out of the Bible, they got a new Bible, no homosexual scriptures. So Romans 1 is gone. Leviticus is gone. Deuteronomy is gone. All these scriptures in Corinthians are gone.
Right.
Speaking out against homosexuality, or now it's illegal if you speak out against homosexuality. They make it illegal to talk about the Bible.
Yeah.
They're going to be broken, man. That's going to be the end. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You homophobic.
Yeah, you're homophobic.
Homophobic.
I'm not homophobic.
Yeah.
I just know what the Bible says.
Right.
It's wrong.
It's just on that point. If you take 59 north, and when you're driving north, when you're about to pass up it's like after you pass up 610. After you pass up 610, if you keep heading north on 59, on your left, right before you get to that next exit, you're gonna see a big billboard that says Pride is set, and it's in like rainbows and yeah. That's what we dealing with though, man. Go to Romans chapter 10 and verse 19. I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 10 and verse 19.
Okay. Romans chapter 10, verse 19.
Go ahead.
But I say, did not Israel know? First Moses said, I will provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people.
So
And by a foolish nation I will anger you.
So it says it in the beginning. It says, did not Israel know? Right after that, it's a question mark. So did we not know that if we didn't follow these laws that we were going to get put into slavery by these wicked and foolish people? By these wicked, foolish, vain people that's making, sex robots, that's about to legalize pedophilia? A lot of, do y'all know that when Obama made it legal for gay people to get married, for homosexuals to get married, like you don't just sign one bill. When a bill is being signed, there's many things that get signed into action as well. But that was just the main thing that they pushed. But underneath, you wouldn't have seen that he made it legal for bestiality as well. So now you can actually marry your fish, you can marry your hamster, your rat. Like if you're caught messing with an animal, ain't no punishment.
Has anybody ever seen one of those bills when they pass a bill? Y'all ever seen how y'all ever seen it? The pamphlet.
Yeah,
It's like this thick.
it's a lot.
And there's a bunch of other little, John McCain used to call it the pork. He used to call it pork. Because you have one main bill, you got all this fat. In order for that bill to come into play, you got to give, the lobbyists, if you know about politics, lobbyists and these people, they're like, well, we're going to endorse the bill, but you got to give us this amount of money, or you got to endorse this product, or you got to let this happen.
Okay.
So you got one main bill that he'll sign one thin piece of paper when he's on his desk, but behind doors he just signed a book this thick of all these other things into law.
Right.
So they'll sign things like, that's like how like eminent domain and things like that came about, because they passed a different bill, but now they can come and seize your property when they want.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, and understanding how politics and how all that works, they'll slide things under your nose, and you're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? Well, it came when he signed in homosexuality, or when he signed in, reparations for black people. But what about all the other things that come behind it? There's so many of these different things.
It was kind of compressed.
Huh?
It was compressed into the main thing, updates.
Yeah, but you have to have all these other things in this bill. Have you ever seen one of these, have you ever seen their policy books? When they sign something into law, that book is like this thick of all the other
Laws.
all the other things that they put with that signing of that bill. It's crazy.
Lobbyists.
Yeah, that's why they go to the lobbyists. The lobbyists, they lobby for different companies to get money and funding and tax breaks, but all that is in that book. And if you're not aware, man, they signed some real weird thing. Like he said, homosexuality, right? But then right along with that was, yeah, you can marry your fish, you can marry your dolphin, you can, you know, he made it legal. He did something weird out there for the troops that they could have sex with animals while they were in other countries.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was part of it too.
That was part of it, like having sex in Afghanistan with sheep. Come on, man.
And it's funny because they like to make it seem like the Arabs were the ones doing that.
No, that was the Americans doing
That
it.
was them.
That was Esau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Through his policies.
we're gonna jump. Huh?
Yeah, Esau, they like to label anything, man. They label all kinds of
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I seen a guy. Listen, I seen a dude on Facebook. Now, why would you record this and put it on Facebook? He was having sex with a snake, with a big old python. He was having sex with a python. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Armadillos, yeah, this guy got leprosy from, I think, armadillos.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only thing that you can get leprosy from one of the animals. So this guy got leprosy and they was wondering how he got it, but he had a pet armadillo.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
his family knew he had the pet armadillo. He spent a lot of time with it, and they put two and two together. He had sex with the armadillo. That's how he got leprosy.
listen, I seen a video on Facebook. The dude was having sex with a guy's tailpipe of his car.
Yeah.
Come on, in the middle of broad daylight. He walked up and him like, yo, what? They were like in India somewhere. He's like, what are you doing? And he walked up. I was like, wow. He was literally sitting there like on his knees with a tailpipe of a car, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're gonna jump to 2nd Ezra chapter 1 verse 24.
But they learned it from Esau, man.
2nd Ezra 1 and 24.
Second Ezra.
That's why the scripture says they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
Read that.
No, we're going to 2nd Ezra 1 and 24.
What are you reading?
I was reading that.
Nah, you should have went there.
Okay. Hey,
I go to Job. I like that. You gotta go there, bro. Come on, you can't skip that scripture. You cannot skip that. Go to Job 30.
yeah.
Yeah, we got it. It's all
Job
good.
30?
Right.
Job chapter 30 and verse 8. Yeah.
Job chapter 30, verse 8.
Yes, sir.
They were children of fools.
Children of fools. Go ahead.
Yea, children of the base men.
So when you look at that definition of base, it's talking about like the low of the low. Go ahead.
They were viler than the earth.
They were viler than the earth, man. That's who we serve. That's who put us into chains, that's who conquered us. Now, you got to really think about it, man. Like, we were great warriors. We had everything. But we got conquered by these people. You ever just look at, when I'm in the mall, I just look at nations as they walk by. I look at the Arabs, I look at the Indians, I look at the Asians, and I look at, of course, the white man. I'm like, how the hell did you, how did y'all conquer us, man? I look at them and I'm like, wow, man.
Who, Esau?
I look at all of them, and I'm like, man, how do we lose to y'all?
Well, that's easy. The Most High left us.
Done.
The Most High left us. You know, when you read about when we were supposed to go take the land of Canaan, and he sent us, you know, he told Moses, get the 12 spies. They came back with the evil report, 10 of them.
Yeah.
And we got the whole congregation of Israel stirred up and nervous and scared.
All right.
And then he said, well, since you didn't want to go do what I said, you're going to walk for 40 years until y'all die. What did we do? We were like, okay, let's go to the land and fight. He said, don't go, because I'm not going to be with you. And we went and we got destroyed. Came back running. He said, I'm not going to be with you. And we got beat. But every time the Most High was with us, it didn't matter how big. Remember, he said he was going to make our fame go throughout the land. And he sent us to go fight the giants of the Anakims.
Yeah.
He had us go fight these giant nations and beat them, destroy them, to show his power. So it wasn't that we lost. It wasn't anything that we could do. The Most High was not, if he ain't with you, he ain't with you.
You know,
That's it. He gave us into the hands of the wicked.
you know, I was thinking too, that's how you know that the Most High wasn't with us as well. Yes, it's that we lost, but that's how you know that the Most High is real too. It's because, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for us to fall as a people, it has to be an act of the Most High. He got to be the one that's like, nah, bro, y'all.
Well, it can only be watched. Go to Judith. Judith. In the Apocrypha, Judith chapter 5, and verse 20.
Judith.
Page 46 in the Apocrypha, if you got the red one. Judith 5 and 20. The nations knew this.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if these be any error in this people,
Right, speaking of Israel.
and they sin against their God,
Come on.
let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
See, if we sin against the Most High, that's going to be our ruin. Breaking of the commandment, and it tells you, you hearken unto me, follow my word, you're going to be blessed. Boom. And if you don't, curses. Go ahead.
And let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Let us do what?
Go up, and we shall overcome
So they knew that, and when we were in sin, we would be easily overthrown. Read the next verse.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
In their nation. Go ahead.
let my Most High now pass by. Lest their Lord defend them.
Lest their Lord do what?
Defend them.
Go ahead.
And their God be for them.
Read.
And we become a reproach before all the world.
Yeah, man. So they knew, the nations knew that if there was no iniquity in Israel and you came up against us, you were flattened. You were done. But as soon as we went off, think about it. As soon as we went off, what happened? This king was wicked. Now you go to captivity.
You know, it's going on too. When the Most High is with us, you will read a lot of the scriptures, a lot of the stories where we went to war, and not one of our men will even die.
That when we went into the war, when we went to go fight, damn, we just read it in the Sabbath class. We went to go fight Amalek. It was Amalek. The Most High said, get 1,000 men from each tribe. We said 12,000.
Okay.
It said not one man was lost. And we killed that whole nation. And brought back spoils. And listen, think about that. 12,000 men go out to fight and 12,000 men come back unharmed. Nobody died? And we wiped out a whole nation of people?
And you know how the Most High does things too. We probably went in undermanned, I should say, and without any good weapons and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Half the time we fought, man, our weaponry wasn't on point and we were undermanned. Remember, the Most High said the battle is his. He said, I'm gonna go fight. It's me that goes and fights for you. So if the Most High ain't with us, and he wasn't with us through these times of our captivities, he let us watch. Go to am I gonna jump? Go to Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy. Right? I want.
Like,
28. Yeah, Deuteronomy 28:47.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 27.
Go ahead.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of thy heart,
Read.
for the abundance of all things.
Read verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against
Wait,
thee.
who sent them?
The Lord.
Which the Lord had sent. The Most High sent these people on us, man. Go ahead.
In hunger,
Right?
and in thirst,
Read.
and in nakedness,
Uh-huh.
and in want of all things.
Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Read verse 49.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from
Wait, who was
far.
going to bring the nation?
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
Right, so if you had any doubt in your mind that if there's evil in the city, did not the Lord do it? It says it in Amos, man, if there's evil in the city, did not the Lord do it?
right,
The Most High sent these people up on us, a base nation.
right,
But that's why he said, I'll send the base things of the earth to confound the wise.
right.
He used this base man, a people that's not a people, and look at us now. Look at us now. It's sad because we want to be like him. A lot of our people want to be like Esau. Think about that. Think about how they went from being nothing, and now we got so much Stockholm syndrome. It's like we want to be like our white daddies. I mean, he ain't my white daddy, but a lot of Issachar, right? Mexicans, man, they just swearing up and down that they white, and a lot of them are Spaniards. But for the majority, man, they be running around swearing up and down that they Esau. It's like, bro, you're not white and you're not accepted by them. So why you clinging to him so much? Like Blanco is bueno, right? White is good. Go ahead, where you at? Blanco is bueno.
Second Ezra chapter 1 verse 24.
I gotta improve my Spanish. I know. Second Ezra's what?
Chapter 1 verse 24.
I'll read it so y'all can write it down. Second Ezra's 1 and verse 24.
Go ahead.
What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob? Thou Judah, wouldest not obey me?
So because we wouldn't obey the Most High is like, man, what should I do unto thee? You know, it's like when a child acts up, right? You go to the parent and the mom or the dad, they're like, man, what should I do to you? They got to think about it, like, man, how am I going to whoop you today? I'm not going to whoop you.
Because everything else ain't working.
Yeah. Like, what do I need to do? Like, what? I put you in timeout. I put you in push-up position.
Took everything off, took all the electronics.
I made you kneel in rights.
Away. Oh, damn. Oh, yeah. No one called some of that one time.
Yeah, kneeling in rights.
Oh, yeah. Right? You want me to read on?
Yeah.
I will turn me to other nations.
Most High is like, I'm going to turn me to some other nations. Go ahead.
And unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes.
Think about it. Now we got these fake Jewish people that's running around acting like they're us. You mean to tell me that they're the chosen people? That you're the chosen people. God chose you above everybody. You are the salt of the earth. Amalek. You fake Jewish Edomite. You. With the little braid thing and the yarmulke and
Ashkenaz, yeah.
Ashkenaz.
You the salt of the earth, but all you wear is black.
All you wear is black. You're lame as hell. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but bro, you're lame. Amalek is lame. They're lame. They're disgusting. They don't like to shower. When you read that, when y'all get that Ark Testament book, and you're reading in the beginning, you're gonna read where.
Doesn't try.
Yeah, in the beginning where you had this Arab guy that went to one of them, and he's like, and he comes into the house. And the man's wife sits and just opens her legs and starts playing with her thing right in front of the Arab. The Arab's like, and the man is like, nah, she's just doing that so you can see it and you can get it out of your system. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's who's the chosen people of God.
That's the base man that the Most High is talking about. Where instead of showering, you let your clothes disintegrate off of you. That's what they used to do. If you go to Europe, they didn't bathe, they would stand in the windowsill, let the air pass by. Why do you think they invented, I don't want to say they invented fragrances, but why do you think all the perfume houses are out there?
You know,
they got to cover up that stench.
It said that when they would wash their face in the morning, you'll read it in the book too, it said when they wash their face in the morning,
This is talking about the
13th tribe.
The 13th tribe by Arthur Koestler.
Yeah, it said that the father would wash his face and then spit in it, wash out his mouth, and then spit in the bowl, pass the bowl to the mom. The mom will do the same thing. And then spit in the bowl, and then pass it to the kids.
Bro, they do that now, though. I seen one where, it was like hoarders, but it wasn't hoarders. But where they were trying to, there's some conservists, where they try to conserve energy, and they all use the same bath water. Come on, man. You know how that water be looking after one person be up in there. But they all dip in that bath water to save money. I'm like, whoa, ain't that much savings needed? When you got to shower in the same dirt, that's only Esau. Only Esau's are let's all shower in the same water. Come on, man. That's
how me in the spirit, because today I got a call from Christians and Jews, both the fake Jews. I give them some money. I hung up the phone.
Nah, yeah, you don't want to support them. I mean, they probably need it though, because they need more water.
I would.
They need clean water.
I was gonna say, I wish they would. You know that never happens to me, man. I want like a Jehovah's Witness to come to my door and One of them called me, so I could just...
Listen, I used to live right across from some. They moved. But they ain't never knocked on my door. I roll through, bro. I look at them, they look at me, and they just knew they didn't want no smoke. They were like, there's something about this guy. Why is he dressed like that? Why is he dressed like a warrior? Right? They would look at me like they would all stop. They would have like the meetings at their house. And you could tell, like every Friday night, bro, the whole parking lot packed, and it was Issachar. And I'll hop out the car, and I'm coming from class or whatever, they would just all stop and just look. And they would just look at me, walk to my door, and I'm like, how y'all doing? Hola. And they just get back to it. They moved like last month, so that's good.
All right.
They didn't want that business.
Verse
You want me
25.
to read on? So, First Ezra chapter, what is it? Second Ezra 1 and verse 25.
Yes, sir.
Seeing you have forsaken me, I will forsake you also.
Like Hosea chapter 4 and 6. Go ahead.
When ye desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you.
Go ahead.
Whensoever ye shall call upon me, I will not hear you.
Go ahead.
For you have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet were swift to commit manslaughter.
Go ahead.
Ye have not as it were forsaken me, but your own selves, saith the Lord.
Read verse 27 again.
Verse 27, ye have not as it were forsaken me, but your own selves, saith the Lord.
And remember, man, you got that scripture that says you can't do nothing against the truth. You can only do for the truth. You can never do nothing against the truth. So in our people, especially in this time, man, our people, we think if we forsaken the Most High, like the Most High needs us. Nah, man, we forsook ourselves. We forsook ourselves, our children, our generations to come afterwards.
And we lightly esteem the Most High that saved us out of Egypt, man.
Right.
It's crazy. We do it today. We do it today because of, we want to get high, the weed smoke, the video games, the music, the partying. It's so enticing. I know. I was once there. But it's like, damn, it gets old. When you're 50 years old trying to run through the club, man, you got to choose a whole different career path. When you're 40 years old trying to still get on the rap game, you got to do something different. When you still trying to be a ball player and you out of college age, 30 years old trying to be a baller, you got to figure it out, man. That's not what the Most High wanted for us. But we attach ourselves to these things, man, and we don't give the Most High the credit.
And you know what it is, man? It's that system that America has in place for us. Because what does America like to sell us? A dream.
Dollar in a dream. Yeah.
A dream. All these rappers, Meek Mill, Dream Chasers, J. Cole, Dollar in a Dream. Everybody wants to chase a dream, but it's not what the Most High wants us to chase. We forsook Him to chase whatever we wanted to chase, and that's what America does. And America loves doing that, man. Because whenever you get that one rare guy that's like maybe in his 30s and he finally makes it to the league, they hype him up and they make it seem big, but it's like, nah, he's a fool. He's 30 and he's still trying to make it, dude. You got a family, you got all this. It's like the brother that stands in front of the NRG. I don't know if he still does it, but trying to play for the Texans, trying to get a tryout. He's been doing it for the last 3-4 years now. He stands right in front of the NRG during training camp, trying to get signed by the Texans, just a tryout. But it's like, bro, like you're already like 26, 27, 28. You can do something better with your life, man. You can move on, but that's what they have laid out for us, man. That's this American system. But that's why the scripture says, it's not that you forsaken me, but you forsook yourselves. That's what the Most High says. Jump to Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 24. And because we've forsaken the Most High, that's why we're in this predicament that we're in right now. At any time, the scripture in 2 Corinthians that says that the Most High is the author of peace, not of confusion. So if there's confusion going around somewhere, what is going on? The Most High is being forsaken in some arena, in some zone, in some area. And that's why you have this confusion that's going on. Most High is trying to get your attention.
Jeremiah 13 and 24.
Go ahead.
Therefore will I scatter them as the stubble that passeth away by the wind of the wilderness.
So go ahead.
This is thy lot, the portion of thy measure from me, saith the Lord.
So if you ever wonder, man, how do we get scattered? Why do we get scattered? Most High scattered us, man. That was what we deserved for what we've been done. The Most High gave us everything, and we wanted more. It's just like Adam and Eve. Most High gave Adam and Eve everything, but they wanted more. They thought that there was something better, and they ended up falling. No different than us. We had everything: our own land, our own heritage. We had servants. We had everything when we left Egypt. We had gold. We took their gold.
The Most High, that's when he says this, as the serpent beguiled Eve,
Done.
and the simplicity that's in Christ, the Most High made it simple for us.
Yep.
Coming out of Egypt, he made it simple for us with Adam and Eve. He's making it simple now.
Done.
And our problem is that we overcomplicate things. That beguiling, we get beguiled. I sound like a broken record. I feel like it. But we get beguiled by so many different things, man. We get swayed away and pulled by so many. It's going to tell us here. I'm going to just read it. Because thou hast forgotten me and trusted in falsehoods. And it's everything. Everything that you could trust in besides the Most High is a falsehood. From your religion, to your mama, to your family, to thinking that the car is running because it's a good old American muscle. It's all these different things where if the Most High is with you, the Most High is with you. And he'll make that car run if it's a hoopty, if he wants you to get to where you need to go. Yeah. He'll make what I look at? I sit back and I look at brothers that are next to me, not just him. But I look at the brothers that are knit close together, and I sit back and I watch brothers, man, and I look at the Most High working their life. And I'm like, the Most High is with you. The Most High is with you. The Most High is with that brother. I look at the way the Most High maneuvers things and puts things in play. But then I look at how the Most High be checking brothers too. And how he be hitting them hard. Some brothers harder than others. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you put that. The same thing that he's hitting you with is what you put in front of him. So what he said, I'm gonna let the own work of your hands check you. The Most High is not mocked. What you sow, you'll also reap. So you put your woman in front of him, guess what? That same woman is gonna be the death of you. That's gonna be your reproach. If it was money, guess what? That's gonna be your issue. I'm gonna make sure you got a pocket. I'm gonna make sure you slave away for that money. And then you're gonna have a pocket with holes. Damn, I just made $900 this week. Where'd it go? I'm making $900 a week. My girl's making $900 a week. We making $1,800 every. Wait a minute, how come I'm broke though? Why I still need gas money? Well, because you put the money in front of the Most High, so you're gonna make sure it's gonna get ate. It's gonna go to every little thing, because you're gonna think, oh, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it. Because there's no wisdom. So I sit back and I just watch, and I'm like, man, what are you putting before the Most High where he's dealing with you like this? Or where's your faith at where he's blessing you? Because it's not always brothers getting hit, brothers are getting blessed. And I just sit back and I just wait for the opportunity to say, look, Most High is with you. What did I tell you the other day? I said, the Most High is with you. I got to keep reminding brothers, like, look, the Most High is with you. But he's going to be with you in two ways, to correct you or to uplift you. But it's what you're doing. It's always what we do. Now, if we trusted in our falsehoods, man, those falsehoods are going to be your demise. We gotta recognize that. And we trusted, I'm gonna say this, we trusted in these nations more than we trusted in the Most High, and the same ones we trusted were the same ones that put us into slavery. You see how that works on the bigger picture?
And that's what Satan does. Satan tries to come and get you to try to get you to trust into the falsehood. Because think about when Satan tempted Christ. Christ was hungry. After fasting for 40 days and 40 nights, that's when Christ was weak. Think about it. You fasted for 40 days, 40 nights, no food, no water, and you're in the wilderness, so you know it's hot. You got all kinds of bugs, animals. You probably got, I don't know, maybe a river by you. You could eat any berry that's by you, get you a drink of the river water. For 40 days and 40 nights, you ain't eat nothing, and you were in this wilderness, nowhere to lay your head, and you're battling through that, and you're weak. That's where Satan came to tempt Christ. So that's where Satan will come and test you when you're weak. So when he comes, the first thing that Christ was hungry. So the first thing he brought to him was food.
It's temptation.
It's temptation. So Christ is like, man shall not live by bread alone. But Satan came for what? You're hungry, eat food. But that's a falsehood. Because you don't just need bread. Then after that, he's like, okay, the food ain't going to get you. How about the world? How about the world? Now think about what America puts, especially in the Israelite man's mind and woman's mind. That Scarface movie.
The world is yours.
The world is yours.
I was just listening. Okay.
The world is yours. So think about it. You come and you like, man, I gotta make it. Especially if you're an immigrant. The majority of the immigrants land where? When they first come to America. Where's the first place an immigrant lands usually?
If they ain't coming from Mexico, they land in New York.
They land in New York. That's where I first landed.
Yeah.
So you see that statue and you like,
Land of the free, open the rain.
you leaving your third world country where you don't got hot water, you living in a shack, and you come to New York and you see the statue. Ain't nothing like that in your country, just the statue on an island. You seen all these buildings, all these cars, the trains, you see all that. And you're like, yeah, I gotta try to get this. So you leave your land, you might leave whatever, but you see all that and you're like, man, I want this. I want to live like these people. I want to try to get that, but that's how Satan will get you. You don't have something, Satan try to present it. And that's the falsehood that he comes with. Because then once you follow Satan and you get it, then you see, damn, this is a falsehood.
It was vain.
You see it was a falsehood. Just think about it. You in the truth now, you battling whatever it is that you're battling. Say when you came in, the majority of us, we were potheads when we came in. We smoked our weed. So we trying to stop smoking weed. And through that, yeah, we gonna fall because the wise man falls 7 times. So you fall, you smoke it, you fall, and you smoke this weed. You're like, damn. After you smoke it, the high is gone. You're like, damn, man, I went such and such days without smoking this weed. 20 days, 30 days, a month, 2 months. And I fell. Satan came, you believed in the falsehood and you fell. Now you gotta start back from the beginning. And that's how he comes, man. He comes at you and you'll fall for the falsehood. Because you get caught up into the moment, into the temptation, and then you fall, and then it's like, after he leaves, you're like, damn, I just did some real damage. And you know the weed is something small, but think about the bigger things that we do. But the scripture says it's not that we forsook the Most High, we forsook ourselves. So when we fall to this falsehood, we only hurting ourselves. And unfortunately, if we got a family, if we got kids, then we hurting our families and our kids. Verse 26.
Verse 26, Jeremiah 13:26. Therefore will I discover thy skirts upon thy face, and thy shame may appear.
And now you see it, man. Our people's ashamed, man. Think about it. Now that you know you're an Israelite, when you see our brothers and our sisters acting up, when you see our brother sagging his pants, you're like, man, he might not feel ashamed, but you feel ashamed because he don't feel ashamed. When you see your sister and she dressed a certain type of way, she carrying herself a certain type of way, or you see her, like I seen this World Star video with this chick, she's trying to go at this bouncer. And the bouncer hits her one time and she falls. She comes up and tries to go at him again. He hits her again, she falls. Then she comes and she tries to go at him again the third time, and he hits her and she falls. Then her friends like pull her away, and it's like, you have no wisdom. You feel ashamed for that. When you look at World Star Hip Hop and you see our people, like the scripture says, we're going to be an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. You look at World Star Hip Hop and you got this truth, and you like, man, we're God's chosen people, but look how our people act. We're ashamed. The Most High is making that shame to appear. Go ahead.
Verse 27. I have seen thine adulteries.
So the Most High has seen our adulteries. Remember, we're married unto the Most High. But we be doing all kinds of craziness. We're married unto the Most High. We're his bride. But we commit adultery so much. So much. On the Sabbath day, you ain't taking the Sabbath seriously, especially when we was fresh coming in. when it comes to like trying to apply the fruits of the Spirit, the things that we need to make it into the kingdom, we ain't worried about it. That's us committing adultery. Us not being, what's the word I'm looking for? Obedient. Obedient unto our brothers, obedient unto our husbands, giving our kids the proper tools that they need, being the proper example unto our nation. Because the scripture says the Most High's name is blasphemed through us to the Gentiles. When you look at all these things, that's us being adulterous, man. When we ain't being all that we can be for the Most High, we're being adulterous. Go ahead.
I have seen thy adulteries and thy lyings, and lewdness of thy whoredom.
Because we chase everything else but the Most High.
That lyings is impatience for lust.
Wow. So
Yeah.
no self-control.
No control. The lewdness of thy whoredom and thine abominations on the hills and the fields.
Go ahead.
Woe unto thee, O Jerusalem! Wilt thou not be made clean? When shall it once be?
Yeah, when we gonna be clean, man? When are we gonna be clean? We're gonna jump to Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 10.
And these are the things that got us in captivity, got us in slavery.
All right.
Jeremiah 16:10.
And you know, on that nines part, where it says, what does it say?
I've seen your adultery and your lyings.
Yeah, what was the
Oh, it says,
again?
It says, impatience for lust.
Impatience for lust. So think about it. That was one thing that got us into captivity.
A winning, it says a whinnying through impatience for battle or lust. So it's like you're like a complaining. Like, you know how we get in the wilderness, we complain, we ain't got no food, we ain't got no water. We ain't got no food, we ain't got no water. We lusted after flesh.
Yeah.
That's what it was saying. We were impatient. So that impatient nagging that Israel did, that murmuring.
All right.
Jeremiah 16:10. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all his great evil against us?
So yeah, like, if you ever wondered, man, why we like this? And I'm sure we all did it before we came into the truth, but if you ever wondered, man, why are we like this? Slavery, and then after slavery, number one people incarcerated, broken families, broken households, our kids are a mess, we're a mess, we grew up on drugs, we gotta sell drugs just to be rich, just to make it, just to have some dough, or we gonna work a regular job, get paid $10 an hour and think that we're doing something. We feel like we're making money because we're making $10 an hour. We feel like we're making money because we're making $20 an hour. We feel like we're making money because we're making $40 an hour. But if they could pay you that, how much are they making off of you? But that's the thing, man. When you really sit and think like, man, why are we like this? The scripture tells you. Go ahead.
Right? What is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our power?
All questions. Go ahead.
Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other powers, and served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law.
Go ahead.
And ye have done worse than your fathers.
And yeah, what?
Done worse than your fathers.
Listen, man, we're doing worse than our fathers. We do worse than them. They're the ones that did it that got us into this predicament. But think about it now. We know we're Israelites now. We're waking up, but we still doing worse.
Still want to be attached to America and be an Israelite.
Why? Because we got the wisdom now, but we ain't doing nothing with it.
You want to be a Hebrew American. You want to be a Hebrew that votes. Ooh, that God.
Go ahead.
Hebrews don't vote. Hope y'all know that. Right, where we at? Verse 11. Then thou shalt say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods. Verse 12. And ye have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart.
Go ahead.
That they may not hearken unto me.
Yeah, man. Whatever we feel, however way we think, that's how we go about it. It's like now you go to your family members and you try to show them the truth in the scriptures. They're like, well, God knows my heart. God knows my heart. Oh, or that's not what it means.
Or you're in a cult. You don't know. You're wrong. That's your interpretation. I got my own personal relationship with Jesus. Jesus talks to me. I'm gonna pray on that. Let the Spirit tell me.
He knows my heart.
I better stop it. That's our people, though, right? Hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious. Right? I'm gonna read on. Verse 13. Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that you know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you your favor. Where I will not show you favor.
Man, ask yourself, who else can this scripture fit? I wish the Edomite will come to me. I'm gonna ask him this right here, man. You serving a God? You serving another nation in a land that you didn't know about? Speaking a language that's not your language? Are you doing that day and night? But that's what we're doing. Go to Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 18, and I'm gonna touch on some of these things.
Jeremiah 4:18.
Go ahead.
Thy way and thy doings have procured these things unto thee. This is thy wickedness, because it is bitter, because it reacheth unto mine heart. Unto thine heart.
God. So we're gonna see some of the things that happened to us.
That we've procured.
Yeah, some of the things that we bought on ourselves. When the scripture says it's not that you didn't forsake me, you forsook yourselves, we're going to see some of the things. Some of the first things, right?
And this is talking about during slavery.
During slavery, this is like going back to the 1500s. I'm going to say about the 1500s, because Mexico was conquered in 1519. So all this is going to be information coming out from the 1500s. So first one, it says, if not the countless escapes and suicides starting with African captives who jumped into the sea rather than face loss of liberty. So we on slave ships. A lot of us just chose to jump off the slave ship. As soon as we got an opportunity, I'd rather drown than be your slave. We had to go through that.
They say there's like 100,000 plus bodies in the, what is that, Atlantic? In that ocean.
But the crazy thing is on that, when you think about it, we were locked down for 23 hours, down in the hull of the ship. We were brought up for 1 hour.
Damn, what that sound like? Shoe program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. Jail. Right?
23 hours. And we all got the same confined space, just like jail. Then you come up to the deck of the ship to get you some exercise in, and you only up there for an hour, just like jail. But you got the chains on your wrists and on your feet. So as you got these chains on your wrists and your feet, your exercise was the two-step dance. Just like now, we still do the two-step.
Are you serious?
God.
Damn.
The women.
My drink and my two-step.
Right?
Yeah.
The women that these devils thought were appealing.
Wait, so hold on. That's why we do like, what is it? All these shuffles that we do?
Right.
Somebody name a shuffle. Come on, y'all know.
You got Cupid shuffle.
The Cupid shuffle. Ain't that like a two-step? Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't even know.
It's called like step dancing or something like that.
Go ahead.
It's line dancing.
You know what? I'm starting to think. You know that dance that we do. We're stomping and I wonder if we were doing that.
Like stepping.
Yeah.
Stomping. Stomp the yard. Type stuff.
No.
Crumping, stepping.
Yeah, I wonder if we were doing that as well as a way of exercise on the show.
I would doubt it.
I'm not sure, but I know that we were doing two-step. I know that was one thing that they had, and I know that the women
step in the name of love. Wasn't R. Kelly talking about two-step?
But you was like spinning and dipping and all that. You couldn't spin.
Well, he added on to it because there was no chains.
No.
Right?
God.
I don't know. I mean, I never knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the women that were appealing, they would dance for these devils, just like today.
Strip clubs, Cardi B.
Just like today.
Damn.
And they glorify it. And that's how wicked these people are, man. They glorify it. That's why the scripture says there's nothing new under the earth. There's nothing done that hasn't been done already. And they make it so, they glorify it for us. But that's what we were forced to do in captivity. Entertain them. still to this day. So a lot of us, we chose to just, it's like walking the plank. Think about when you was watching the cartoon as a child. They had the little board, and they had you, blindfolded or something, and you had to walk the plank into the ocean. What do you think they had us do? Those are the slaves that were sick, that they knew, okay, I'm not going to be able to sell you for nothing. You're sick. You're probably going to die. They made him walk the plank, walk right off, go into the water where he drowned. But the thing is that a lot of them didn't drown because there were already sharks there waiting. Because the sharks knew to follow the slave ships because they knew that these slaves that would get sick would get thrown overboard and the sharks would have a free meal. So a lot of sharks followed the slave ships. A lot of them.
Damn.
It's cold.
Man.
It's cold, man. It was something else.
And then we come with the dumb thing. Remember when they were doing planking? You remember that? That was just like 6 years ago, right? That was a whole thing, like planking. Everybody was planking. Remember the ice bucket challenge? That had something to do with slavery. There was a few challenges that had something to do with slavery. With the ice bucket, that had something to do with slavery. Planking. There was something else. It's not hitting me. It's gonna though. Damn, that's crazy.
God, man. And the majority of the brothers and sisters that were on that ship didn't make it. Because you was locked down in that hole, in that space. It was like a 5x6 space, I might be mistaken. So imagine if you're tall, you're just crumbled up in this 5x6 space, and you can't move. We took number ones and number twos on each other because we couldn't get up to move. We threw up on each other because you'll be seasick. Imagine the women that had babies on that ship. Why? Because it took some journeys took a year while you were on the ship to make it across, and you'll have these devils that'll rape our women. So just think about it. Think about what we went through. The majority of us didn't make it across the transatlantic alive. They mostly put kids on those ships, teenagers, young adults. Because if you're an old man, or I'm not gonna say an old man, a man 25 to 35, and you get on the ship, by the time you get off the ship, one, you might not survive, but a slave master buys you, you're already starting to get old. You done
lost weight. You done got muscle atrophy from being sardined in. Yeah, your value went down.
Your value went down.
So you throw these kids in that can fit in that space a little bit more, and they're kids. You'd be surprised how strong kids are.
Right.
They can withstand that long journey, and they ain't gonna lose nothing, except for they'll lose their mental faculties before anything.
And then the kids are on the ship, so when they come off, think about it. They would rather buy a 17, a 15 to 21-year-old man or woman that's going to be on that plantation for some years, rather over a 30, 40-year-old man or woman. So, yeah, man. So that was one point. Second point. So you had like a lot of rebellions that tried to happen. You had this one where Nat Turner were less well known, one such as that of Denmark Vesey. The literate freedman corralled thousands of enslaved people in and around Charleston, South Carolina. And that's where they had that shooting with the church, right? It said in Charleston, South Carolina, into plans for an ambitious insurrection that will kill all Edomites, burn the city, and free those in bondage. After an informant tipped off authorities, the plot was squelched at the last minute. Scores were convicted and more than 30 organizers executed. So you had this man called Denmark Vesey who gathered a lot of enslaved brothers and sisters. This was in Charleston, South Carolina, and we were going to rebel and start going off on them. But just like the majority of, our people, we got coons, we got Uncle Toms. Mm-hmm. Somebody went and snitched for that whole rebellion. They loved being in Egypt. They loved it. So you had, so this one was talking about just like today, right? So in the 1865s, they ripped African American children from their parents. And then from the 1870s to the 1970s, they ripped Native American children from their parents. Now in 2019, who they ripping from their parents? The Issacharites, the Zebulonites.
Yeah, 9.5.
9.5. They ripping them from their children. Literally ripping them. Still going on to this day, man. And you began in the late 1800s and lasted well into the 1970s when indigenous children, speaking of the Native Americans, across the country were forcibly separated from their families and sent to Indian schools. At the boarding schools, the children were required to assimilate. They were stripped of their language and culture. Often they were physically and sometimes sexually abused. And this one is a good one right here. Well, it's not a good one, but so this one is talking about.
Did y'all know some of this stuff? Yeah.
No, that's new.
Yeah. There's gonna be one that he's gonna hit. I didn't even know this. I was like, wow. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is one of them. So this one right here. Think about it. You on the slave, you on the field. How do you punish? How did these Edomites used to punish our women that were pregnant? It says that pregnancy was not a barrier to punishment. Methods were devised to administer lashings without harming the baby.
Because they punish us by whooping us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the way they did it, they strung us up or they strung us over something. And they would, but you can't string a pregnant woman over anything, right? And you don't want to string her arms up because you'll pull something, you'll stretch something, or she might just drop the baby out. So they devised a way. Go ahead.
Slave masters would dig a hole big enough for the woman's stomach to lie in.
So they dig a hole and lay her stomach down. So her back, butt, legs, her whole back part was exposed, and then they would just go to work.
And proceed with the lashings.
So, I mean, you gotta see, man, if they wasn't ripping the babies out, because they did that,
Yeah,
I know we're gonna go there. It's weird how these people are, where it's like, we want to protect your baby, but why? What was the point of them protecting that baby? More workers. We gotta make sure we keep breeding slaves. So we're gonna devise a way to whoop you and beat you down, but protect our property. You got to see the thinking. And half the time, those babies were what? Babies of incest. Y'all know that when the women, when they were all pregnant, or like if I had a wife and she was pregnant and my mom was there, I'd have to go sleep with my mom and get her pregnant. Y'all know that, right? Y'all never heard that? Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
That's where the terminology mother effer came from. They had men sleeping with their mothers to create more slaves. That's what it was about, was producing. Y'all got to read the Willie Lynch letter. I did a class on it, but it was about producing and mass producing slaves. How do we produce them faster? How do we produce them bigger and stronger? Well, when you keep a bloodline pure, right? When you keep a bloodline pure, that's how you produce strength. That's how you did it in their eyes.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. And also, since we're on the point, also one thing I was reading up too was the Edomite man, of course, they would always take our women, like as a concubine or whatever. And when they'll take our women,
bed wench, not concubine.
Bed wench, that's the word.
They call them bed wenches.
So they'll use our women as bed wenches.
Can't
right?
use concubine because that's a biblical term.
Yeah.
And they was nothing biblical about what they were doing.
So they'll use bed wrenches, right? And of course they'll do the deed or whatever, get our women pregnant, and then even that child that was a lot of Edomites, those child that they got with this lady, with our women, they had to work too. So they even made their own seed go out there and work. It wasn't until later on when they started putting them in their houses.
In the house, and you had the house nigga.
Yeah, but in the beginning they were out there on the field too. They'll be out there working, but one good thing is that and this is like the only good thing that I read was our women started to chew the root of the cotton that we was growing. So from that tree, our women would chew the root, and that root produced like this type of poison or something like that, where if they were pregnant, it'll make them have a miscarriage, or it would just not let them get pregnant at all. So a lot of women would do that because
sterilize themselves.
Yeah. So say you're a woman, say you're a slave woman and you have the slave man and you're like, this is who I want to be with. The slave master will be like, no, that's not who you're going to be with. You're going to be with this man. So a lot of times they would try to use this woman to sleep with a stronger man to produce a stronger baby. But what they'll do is they wouldn't lay. A lot of them wouldn't lay. So the slave master would think that she just can't get pregnant. She can't have kids. So they would actually let her be with who she wanted to be with. But that was later on. After slavery and the whole process started. But when it first started, man, it was brutal. But as time went on, things got a little bit more lenient. But when it first started, it was super brutal, man. But you got to see why it was brutal. Think about it. The Edomites that came from America, from Britain, to start the colonies in America, those Edomites that they call the founding fathers, they were trash. Think about it. If you heard that there was a new land, right, and nobody lives there, we're gonna go and we're gonna colonize this land. Think about it. If you got a family already here, you got your house, you got your land, you got everything that you need here, would you want to go to some unknown land that you don't know about and try to start something with this unknown land? No, you wouldn't. So the ones that came over here, those were the scum. Those are the actual.
Those were
just
the
trash.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything. They were poor. They didn't have nothing. They were lazy. Those were like the homeless people. If you went to a homeless person and you were like, you want to restart, they'd probably be like, yeah, I want to restart. So those Europeans that came over here, those Edomites, they're the ones that wow, they were the bottom. They didn't have nothing going on for themselves in Britain. So they was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll go to America and try to start something new. Get away from here. I was in jail here. I was a felon here. I was a thief. I didn't have nothing.
They were the criminals. All the ones that came from Ireland and Britain. They were the criminals, the felons. They were the underbelly of Europe.
And that's what started America.
Yeah.
They called them the forefathers. So we ended up being servants to underbellies, men that had no morals or no cares. Not to say that any Edomite does, but at that time, these were the worst of the worst. These were the worst of the worst Edomites that the Most High put us under.
Can I get one? Deuteronomy, I'll read it. Deuteronomy 28 and 50. 28:49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And they didn't care. You know, even when you go into the buck breaking, y'all know about that?
Yes.
Yeah, how they would break the man right in front of his family. They would tie him down. They would tie him down, and they would basically just rape him in front of his family, and they would break his spirit, and they would break his family, they would break his wife, they would break his son, and that was something that they did throughout all the plantations. They would send in little letters and say, hey, we got a buck to break. And it wasn't just one man that did it. It was all the little owners or whoever wanted to come and fulfill his faggot dreams. He would come and have sex, rape this man. A lot of stuff, man, is slavery based. But go ahead.
Just on that point, nothing's new under the sun. They still do that in downtown. One time I was passing out flyers, man. The dude, one of the guys out there said that a lot of these guys that are homeless, a lot of Edomites come down there and they just pay them.
They pay them, yeah. They pay them off.
God.
Yeah, they do that a lot in Cali. That Skid Row, man, there's a lot of homosexuals on drugs out there, but the rich Edomites will come down and just throw them a couple of dollars for them to do whatever, something strange for a piece of change, so they can get their drugs and they can get their rocks off. But a lot of them people, man, are our people.
Man, the Edomites actually, like the ones that got money, CEOs and stuff, when something goes bad, like they had a bad day in the stock market, they'll actually pay a homeless person to beat them up. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Go ahead, bro.
So think about it. If you're an Edomite, who do you want to beat up? You most likely gonna pay a homeless Israelite. You're not gonna get a homeless Edomite. You're gonna get a homeless Israelite. But our people, man.
Yeah, Dawiyad said it. He said the state of Georgia was populated by the convicts of the United Kingdom. Yeah, I believe it. The people that came here, man, they were. You just gotta look into it. They were the scum of Europe. They were the outcasts, and they came over. That's why they fought against that country and started their own thing. They had to.
Kind of.
They were the rejects.
Kind of. So a couple more points. Many times a slave would also be simply put through wanton cruelties, or unprovoked violent beatings or punishments. So think about when you was in school, man, and you had this bully that was just a bully for no reason. Now think of this man being a slave owner. But think about the cruelness that they'll do to you just because that's just in their spirit.
I mean, I was thinking about this, and Ronnie put it in the chat, where they would tie you to two horses.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Pull you apart.
But they would tie you to two horses. They would feather you. They would grease you up and feather you, and then they'll smack the horses and pull you apart. But what logo is that?
Right.
What logo is that?
Levi.
That's the Levi logo. You know, your Timberland boots, right? Your Timberland boots is a tree, and the lace is what? It's the noose. Yeah, all these things that to this day we as Black and Hispanic people we trust in, right? We trust in our Tim boots and our Levi jeans and all these things, man, that were, your banking system, Wells Fargo. We always talk about the banking system, J.P. Morgan and Chase and Wells Fargo and all these people. They built their corporations off of slavery.
Okay.
If it wasn't for slaves, there wouldn't be no Chase.
There
There wouldn't be no Wells Fargo. There wouldn't be Ivy League colleges like Princeton and Yale and Stanford and those Harvards. Those men built those colleges to show their children how to keep slaves. Those colleges were built by slaves to show their white sons how to keep slavery going. Without slaves, these things wouldn't exist.
Okay.
The banking system was built off the cotton system. If you needed some cotton, cotton equipment to pick cotton or whatever, you'd have to give up a slave to the bank, and that was your collateral, or that was your trade for your loan. All these things were literally built. The stock market, the stock market was built off of slaves, right? Some of the holidays, your Black Friday, right? Black Friday was when they made a slave a cheaper price. But niggas will run the Black Friday. First of all, you'll do Thanksgiving. You'll be thankful for the whole world, and you're gonna be greedy as hell 5 hours later, running through Walmart, stampeding people for a toaster. All in the name of Black Friday, where they made your ancestors half price. We gotta wake up and see it, man. But that's why he said all these things that we run to, that's gonna be our destruction.
Okay.
You're gonna. It's in Psalms. I'm gonna read it real quick. I'm gonna read this. This is Psalms 1. This is Psalms 1 no, it's not Psalms. It's Proverbs. No, it's Proverbs 1. I think.
31.
Yeah. I'm gonna read verse 27. Read verse 23. Gosh, bro. Yeah, I don't want to take your whole class. Read verse 20.
Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 20.
Uh-huh.
Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets.
Go ahead.
she cried in the chief place of concourse.
And you know, now the wisdom is here, man. The wisdom is here to wake us up and show us the conditions that we were put in, and that there's a better way. You can come up out of this. Come out of her, my people. Be not partakers of her sins. Go ahead.
In the openings of the gates,
Right.
and the city she uttereth her words, saying,
Read.
How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
And this is the problem with our people. We love to be simple-minded as hell, and run to simple things, and run to the foolish, vain things.
Right.
But it's a question: how long are we gonna do it? Read.
And the scorners delight in their scorning.
Yeah, and the scorners, they love to, man, the Bible ain't real. That was written by the white man. Why you following that? Why you dressed like that? They love to delight, but how long is that going to last for our people? Read.
And fools hate knowledge.
Go ahead.
Turn you at my reproof.
Do what?
Turn you at my reproof.
Go ahead.
Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you.
Right, see, if we turn at the correction of the Most High, He's going to give us the spirit that we need to be in. Go ahead.
I will make known my words unto you.
Read.
Because I have called and ye refuse.
Because what?
I have called.
So we have been called. We are being called, but we refuse because we want to be like LeBron, be like Mike. We want to chase the American dream. We want the white picket fence, the 2.5 kids, the dog, the house, the sports car with the minivan with the pickup truck. We want those dreams, but you got to be asleep to dream. Go ahead.
And ye refuse.
Right.
I have stretched out my hand.
And has the Most High not recovered us from captivity to captivity from the dawn of time? He stretched out his hand, and we refuse. Like, it feels like, and maybe because I'm here now in this time, and I know what's going on now, but I feel like in this time we really don't give a damn. But guess what? It was no different than any other time. It was no different than the time of Ezekiel when he came up and they were like, nigga, get out of here. Jeremiah, nigga, get out of here. Christ, get out of here. It was no different. Go ahead.
And no man regarded.
Right?
But ye have set at naught all my counsel.
Right?
And with none of my reproof.
Because we rather counsel and put on the spirit of Egypt, like it says in Isaiah 30. We rather counsel with them, with America. Hey, I wonder what America thinks. Let me go vote about it because that's going to change it. Let me go work about it. Let me go build this kingdom because that's going to bring about change.
Right.
Go ahead.
I also will laugh at your calamity.
And I really, truly believe that the Most High is up there laughing at us right now. I believe it. I believe that He's up there getting a good old chuckle because He's looking through time and He's like, damn, y'all don't get it yet? Y'all ain't gonna wake up and see that America can't save you? That America has been destroying you? So He's up there chuckling, man, to Himself, like.
You know, it's funny. I think, the Most High has called us our His kids. I think about, and I don't know if this happened to y'all, but I remember when I was going to get whooped a lot, I'll run to my auntie or to my uncle, and they'll start laughing like, "Nah, bro, don't run over here." Don't run over here.
Right? No, it's going what? Because we are the children of the Most High, and He does deal with us like a parent and like that. I like exactly what you just said because it's true. But when do you run to that person when it's time to feel? You ain't running when they're telling you, yo, don't do that. Don't do that. But as soon as, don't touch the stove, son. Then he touches the stove, and then that's when he want to run to you like, ah! It's like, man, get up out of here. Go over there real quick with the crying. Feel some of that pain, and then I'll take care of it. Because that's what we do. It's like we want to run when, oh God, when you get shot in the middle of the streets. Oh God, when they put you on child support. Yeah, I just seen the video. Y'all know who Sebastian Telfair is?
Yeah.
The basketball player that he's Stephon Marbury's cousin from New York. They just put him in jail for 3 years. 34-year-old thrown in jail for 3 years for having guns. This nigga lost it in the courtroom. He lost it. And I'm like, bro, why you got guns in New York? Like, you know it's illegal. Each bullet. And and the guns weren't illegal. They were legal. He had a carry license, but not for New York. He had it for Florida. But they don't care. They're like, yo, you got 3 handguns, a semi-automatic rifle, a machine gun. He had like 5 guns on him. He in the courtroom losing it. Like, what am I supposed to do in 3 years? And I'm like, now you want to call on the Most High? Now you want to believe? Now it's, oh God, Jesus saved me. Read on. 26.
I will mock when your fear cometh.
And how does he mock us, man? He mocks us with the same very base ass people that he uses to check us. Because what happens is this: you driving down the street, that cop pull behind you and flash those lights, whoop, whoop, and your whole bottom half gets numb. Oh my God, what did I do? And then he just drives right by you, and the whole time you shook, 30 miles an hour the whole way home. He mocks you, right? He mocks you with those people. I've been there. Cop pulled behind me, and then he hit them lights, and I'm like, and you lose all feeling in the bottom half of your legs, and you're like,
I was gonna say that's what I do.
yeah, but then he drives right on by. You're like, damn, what was I scared of? Well, because you was doing something off. Read on.
Verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation.
Then when it comes as a desolation, when you know now, wait a minute, the Most High is dealing. Go ahead.
And your destruction cometh as a whirlwind.
And when it comes out of nowhere, because that's what happens. That's what happened to Israel. Our desolation and destruction, it came out of nowhere. He said he's going to send a people as swift as the eagle flies. Go ahead.
When distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Read.
Then shall they call upon me.
And that's the problem with our people. We call it the wrong time. You're supposed to be calling not when it's bad, but when it was good. When we were in the good graces, that's when you should have been like, Barakatah Yahweh, Mahashem Yahweh Shai. But now you want to set up strong prayers when your rib's about to leave. Now you want to set up strong prayers when the Most High is bringing you through the battle. It's like, man, I'm not hearing that. I don't hear those prayers yet. I hear them, but I'm not going to regard those because you should have been praying before she was about to leave. Before you was about to go through whatever you was about to go through. Read.
Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me.
Right.
But I will not answer.
Come on.
They shall seek me early.
Yeah, you up with the sun up praying. You up 6 a.m. I'm rising with the sun. I gotta praise my Lord. But he ain't dealing with that. Go ahead.
But they shall not find me.
Read.
For that they hated knowledge.
And ain't that what we did in slavery? Come on, man. We had them slaves out in the field. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. We was up early in them. Listen, we was up early in them cotton fields singing, man, trying to get the Most High to hear us. It was too damn late. It was too late. You gotta feel this.
Because Jeremiah 22 and 21, I spake unto thee in thy prosperity.
Right.
But thou saidest, I will not hear.
We ain't gonna hear. So he ain't gonna hear us in our destruction. Now, coming back, the Most High is hearing us. Because this is going to be the last time. This is going to be the last captivity. So he's hearing us and he's making things happen for us. But in these other times, man, he was like, I'm not hearing that. You're going to have to eat that bullet. Finish it up.
Verse 29. Verse 30, I'm sorry.
Verse 30, 29.
Verse 29. For that they hated knowledge.
And that's the problem with our people, man. You hate knowledge, so you're destroyed for the lack thereof. You reject knowledge, I'm going to reject you. Read.
And did not choose the fear of the Lord.
Right, we chose everything else, like our oppressors. Read.
They would none of my counsel.
Come on.
They despised all my reproof.
Read verse 31.
Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way.
Yeah, and that's at the end of it. When Kanye said slavery was a choice, here it was. You ate of the fruit of your own doings, of your own way. We as a nation did. Read.
And be filled with their own devices.
And that's all it was I want to do it this way, and the Most High was like, okay, go ahead. You got it. I'm not going to stop you. I ain't going to intervene. I ain't going to stop you. I'm not going to add anything. I'm going to just let you figure it out for yourselves. I'm going to let you go deal with these type of people, these base, vile men, and you're going to see how they do you. I'm going to let you deal with your enemy. The scriptures say never trust thy enemy. As iron rusted, so is his wickedness. But you want to go deal with the enemy, so guess what? I'm going to let you go deal with him until his wickedness spring up. And that's what Esau, and it ain't just Esau, it's all the nations. Remember, we've been in captivity to every nation on this earth. Every nation on this earth, believe it or not.
Yep.
Every nation.
Everybody.
That gotta be, man, that's a record, right? Guinness Book. Where are we at?
So another thing, another thing. So do y'all know Senator Mitch McConnell or whatever?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Little turtle-looking dude. But he says that Obama was our reparations. So just letting y'all know, he's still in the government to this day.
Oh, that's all. Yeah, he just said that. He just said that like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, when they were doing the whole reparations things, he was like, "Yeah, we let y'all. First, this is how he said it. He said we let you vote for Obama, as if that was the appeasing for black people, because that's what they look at it as, right? We gave you Obama to appease y'all, and niggas fell for it. My president is black. My Lambo is blue, right? We sung songs. We made rap videos.
God.
You know, Jay-Z talking about he's sexing the president. Blah 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 blah. And what did Obama give us? Nothing. Obama didn't do nothing for the black community. Nothing positive. Go ahead.
It's not like he couldn't have, because when Obama became president, America was spending like $1.2 billion a day on their military. And when Obama became president, he spent $3 billion. Not million, but $3 billion a day on the military. Think about that. So it's not that he couldn't, he just didn't care about us.
I don't even know what that even means. Like, they spent money on the military. I'm like, would you do hire more people? Or make more guns? I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
So just a couple more things. It says after slaves were whipped, overseers might order. The overseers, by the way, were just Uncle Tom slaves. It says after slaves were whipped, overseers might order their wounds to be burst and rubbed with turpentine and red pepper.
The wounds. Whoa.
The
wounds.
Yeah.
Damn.
So like you get whipped, and you get the wells from the whip.
Yeah.
They'll burst open those wells and they'll put turpentine. I'm not sure what turpentine is, and then they'll rub it with red pepper. So it already burns. Think about when you used to get whipped on your back when you was a child. That stuff, it stung, it hurted. But so it's already hurting, and you're gonna put some pepper and some turpentine.
Yeah, turpentine. That's what they paint. Paint room. Yeah.
Wow.
It comes from a tree. It's a gum from a tree. Apply turpentine to turpentine. What is it used for? Turpentine is an oil. Is made from resin of certain pine trees. Well, it says it's used as medicine. Oh, wait a minute. There's two different types. I think it depends on how you get it. You have the gum and you have the oil. I don't even think turpentine and red pepper, unless they were trying to heal or trying to cause the wounds to.
Nah, they weren't. Not at this time.
Wow.
Not at this time. They didn't. These Edomites didn't start caring about slaves till after the year 1860, when Britain said that it wasn't. When Britain made it illegal to bring slaves from Africa to America, when they tried to end that portion, that's when they actually started caring about the slaves. Because now you're not going to be having this huge influx of slaves coming to America. So that's when they actually cared. That's when they'll actually treat you and try to treat you a little better so you can live a little longer and they can get their money.
Turpentine irritates the stomach and intestines and affects the nervous system. Wow.
And that's what they rub into our wounds. And it says an overseer reportedly took a brick, ground it into a powder, mixed it with lard, and rubbed it all over a slave. And then it says a metal collar was put on a slave to remind him of his wrongdoing. So if you messed up, Esau will put this metal collar around your neck. Such collars were thick and heavy. They often had protruding spikes, which made field work difficult and prevented the slave from sleeping when lying down.
Y'all know the ones. It went around their neck, and it was like a hook. Because think about it, you couldn't run off. You get caught up in them bushes. You couldn't run. You get caught up in the trees trying to run away. That was another reason why if you were a runaway, they put that collar and the spikes went out, and they hooked. So if you ran, you got caught in the trees.
And it was heavy too, so it made it hard. But it said that you couldn't sleep when you had that on, right? And then it says, no slave could be taught to write, work on Sunday, or work more than 15 hours per day in summer and 14 hours in the winter. So you was working for 15 hours a day in the summer, in the hot summer, and you had this thing around your neck, which was heavy, that prevented you from sleeping. So not only couldn't you sleep, but you had to work for 15 hours a day. And that was during the summer. During the winter, you had to work for 14. And through all that, you couldn't sleep because you had this thing on. And a lot of us had it on for years. Well, we'll have it on up to a year, and it said that on Christmas they'll take it off.
Here's your present, good old Negro boy.
That was your Christmas.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And of course, you know, a slave couldn't leave the owner's property, all that. Slave couldn't buy or sell. And here's what it says. By the 19th century, popular Southern literature characterized female slaves as lustful and promiscuous Jezebels who shamelessly tempted white owners into sexual relations. This stereotype of the promiscuous slave was particularly motivated by the need to rationalize the obvious sexual relations that took place between female slaves and white males as evidenced by the children. The stereotype was reinforced by the female slaves working particularly clothed. It was reinforced by female slaves working partially clothed due to the hot climate. During slave auctions, females were sometimes displayed nude or only partially clothed. So this is pretty much saying that in the 19th century, when, of course, we've been over here since the 1600s, and you had a lot of mixed children. In the 19th century, when these authors started writing books, they would write that the slave woman who would be outside and dressed, she would be dressed she would just be dressed partially because it's hot outside, so she's trying to not be hot. They would say that they would try to entice the slave master to lay with them, and that's how all these kids came about. But obviously, that's not
That's a
true.
lie. They was raping the women.
Exactly. But they was trying to use that to say that, no, we weren't raping them, we weren't doing none of that. And obviously, that's a lie. So this is a good point right here, too. So all these surgeries and all these medical things and tools that they use nowadays, that was all perfected on slaves. All of it.
Without anesthesia.
Without anesthesia.
Without putting them to sleep. Without painkillers.
None of that.
C-sections, abortions.
All that. So if you had a brain tumor and they was gonna work on your brain, no anesthesia in that.
They crack that skull open alive and awake.
You know, with a lot of babies, when they're gonna be born, you'll have a breech birth. When they was trying to get their medical, the way they do certain practices in the medical field.
Yeah, like the medical practices on.
Yeah. When they were trying to perfect it, they perfected
Procedures.
it on slaves. So when a woman had a breech birth, they would, I just practice on a slave. That's what they did. So a lot of slaves that became sick, there was a particular man, let me see if I have it here. I'll just read it real quick.
So we were their guinea pigs.
We were their guinea pigs. But still to this day, we're still their guinea pigs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have a lot of brothers and sisters that'll sign up to go. Y'all ever heard of Nova? So you got Nova, this medical thing where they'll go and they'll take these pills.
Take the pills.
And they become guinea pigs for a weekend or a month.
They throw the commercial out there that you suffer from anxiety, depression. Come sign up for this medical testing. We'll pay you $5,000. And you sign a waiver that if you take these pills, they make you go insane. That's not on them. Yeah, I knew somebody that was doing that like
All the
for a
time.
living. But they had demons on, like legions of demons because of they're taking uppers and downers and antidepressants and depressants and yeah, bro.
Right.
They do it now. They do it now though. They do it now. They do it now through the food, through the GMO. Let me say this.
Right. So you had a widespread of network of medical colleges and doctors across the American South carried out and published slave experiments for decades. The physicians and colleges saw an opportunity in the institution of slavery to elevate themselves and they took it. Historian Stephen King of the university, they pretty much say it was commonplace. It says medical journals that no longer exist, such as the Baltimore Medical and Surgical Journal and the Western and Southern Medical Recorder, overflow with reports of surgical experiments to treat injuries, birth defects, and tumors, all pioneered on slaves. Doctors often performed the experiments apparently without pain relief, according to the study, in an era before anesthesia or sterile surgery. So they pretty much, every surgery, it was practiced on us. Without the anesthesia, without any of that. Especially when they had made it illegal, Britain had made it illegal for them to get slaves off of Africa and bring them to America. And now you'll have the slave will get sick or something will happen to the slave, they'll bring them to these doctors, and the doctors had a whole bunch. They could always practice on these slaves. So the slaves will come and they just practiced on them. If a woman had something going on inside of her, they just practiced on it. And I was reading articles, man, where this one lady, she had something going on, and he was working inside of her, and bro, she was screaming in pain for over an hour, and everybody, all the doctors and stuff, is just watching. But that's what we was going through during slavery. They won't put that on TV, but this one right here, this is the coldest one. I knew about this one, but I didn't know it was to this extent. It says, white men use black babies as alligator bait in the swamps of Louisiana and Florida. They use the babies to lure large alligators with human flesh and blood during the era of slavery. They kidnap the babies, skin them alive, and drop them into the swamp waters. Now, I didn't know that they skinned the babies, but I knew that they would use us as gator baits.
Yeah, you never hear that part.
You never hear that.
I never ever heard that they skin the babies alive. Think about that. That's just using the gator bait, just using a baby for gator bait, but then to skin them alive. To skin a baby alive. You gotta be the most, I don't even know how to word it, right? You gotta be insensitive, you gotta be evil, hateful. It's crazy, you gotta have no conscience. Inhumane. But you still see it to this day where you got the two little white girls that stomped out the puppy. Y'all seen that on the video? It's two little white girls, man, young. They were just stomping a puppy in his head. Bow, 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 stomped him to death. Seen the other video where a little white boy took a dog by the tail and just started body slamming it. Boom, boom. Hit it with a bat. Boom.
Yeah.
These young kids. But those be the serial killers. Those are the ones that they kill animals. You know, you watch all the movies, right? And the serial killer, what does he start doing first? He kills the family cat, strangles the family dog, bleeds them out, and then he starts killing people. But why do you think Esau is the way he is? It's in their genealogy to have no conscience when it comes to human or animal life, any life. You know, they'll put their, remember, like it was like a joke thing, they'll put their cat in the microwave and crap like that. But that was bred into them, man. You know, the scriptures say the wicked is estranged from the womb. Remember, Esau is our brother, but it said that he was wicked in the womb. The wicked is estranged from the womb. He was different. He's a different man. Go ahead.
It says this was an account from a guy, one of the slaves. He said he recalled a time when a man rode a horse throughout the area and picked up black babies, cut them up, and used them for fish bait. Wall said, I saw
fish bait?
Fish bait.
You couldn't get worms?
Couldn't get any animal.
Wow. Or any other flesh. Well, because God.
Esau.
Man, that is insane, bro.
He said, I saw the blood dripping from his sack on the side of his horse. Everybody would grab their children when they heard that he was coming. He was a mean and evil man.
Bro, he's more than mean and evil.
God.
No conscience.
And then, of course, it goes into, you know, them snatching babies from mothers and from their breasts and bashing their brains out. So it'll be like you sitting there, you feeding your baby, and they'll come and just take your baby and smash it.
Yeah, that's what when you go into what book is it? One has it. Is it Nature Has No Color Lines? But
it's like one of the Crusaders books.
Or one of the Spanish Crusader books, but it goes in and it talks about when Columbus and them, when his mercenaries, they went into the island of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic and Haiti, and they would string up the pregnant women, string them up by their hands, and they would go and chop them. They would make a competition. You'll pull their sword out, and the competition was who can strike one blow and cut a person in half.
Oh, look, I got it right here.
Oh, do you?
It says captured natives. Now this was talking about the Northern Kingdom.
Yeah, this was the island of Hispaniola. This is where those natives, where they went.
It says captured natives were sometimes butchered by the conquistadors, aiming to test the quality of their swords as well as their own strength. The conquistadors would even place bets on the slicing off of heads or the cutting of bodies in half with one blow.
One blow. But they were doing this to pregnant women. They would cut off their breasts, or they would say, they would cut out the baby out the womb of these pregnant women, and this was like competition. They were cutting off, during slavery, modern slavery here in America, they were cutting off our testicles, the males, and using them as trophies. What type of man wants another man's nuts as a trophy? I mean, you got to just think about just the sheer, but that's why he says he's vile. He's a vile man, because to me, I'm just like, yo, that's just disgusting. You could have cut off a finger. You could have cut off something else, but it's testicles. And then you just gonna carry those around with you. And then that's why you get the movies, movies like, what was the one movie where he was collecting ears and making chains out of them? You had other movies where the dude made a jacket out of somebody, like people's faces. He was wearing their skin. You get movies like Hannibal, Bone Collector, Face Off. But who comes up with these ideas? It's Esau, man, going back to his slavery days, going back to him roots.
Right.
When you can wear another man's face and really make a movie about it and make it glorious, you got demons. It's Face Off. But there was one where the dude made a face out of he made a jacket out of people's faces. Or when they collect people's teeth or collect ears. You got people that do that.
Wasn't that the butterfly? One of those butterfly effect?
The butterfly effect? That was one of them. That was spooky also. But again, it's an Edomite mentality. They put it in movies, but that's what they were used to doing, forefather-wise. Go ahead, what else?
Man, I have a lot more just on the atrocities that was done to, the Israelites all over.
Go ahead, we got time.
No, I was gonna go into
go ahead.
some other stuff, but man, that wasn't just in America. That was everywhere. I was in Jamaica, the islands. I was in South America. Listen, everywhere that they stepped foot, where we was at, that's how they did us. It talks about how 90% of the population, the Aztecas, the Taino Indians, the Awawak Indians, wherever they went, at least 90% of the population would be gone in a couple of years, because they would go in and literally.
Yeah, they took all the children. They see what when you go into like Christopher Columbus and his history. What he would do was go to these islands. He would take the children. He did the sex trading.
Talks about that.
And he would take them over to Europe and all these other places. And the older people, they would end up just killing them off. And they would kill them because they would think about it. You're a slave and you ain't eating, so you would have to steal to eat. They caught you stealing, they'd cut off a hand. Okay. But you still have to work. It wasn't like, oh, let's cut your hand off and then offer you medical assistance. They cut your hand off and you just there bleeding. And you got to pick up the pieces, or they cut off a foot. So they're decapitating people and cutting off arms and dismembering people.
Yeah.
So by the time he went from, he island hopped and went all through the Caribbean, went to all the islands, South America, North America, and he just literally with disease and taking the children and killing the women, he was able to wipe away, like he was saying, 90%, 99%, but at least 90% of the island of Hispaniola, when he left, was gone. 90% of the people, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that he wiped out with disease, because they came with diseases.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna kill you with the sword. Remember, Deuteronomy 28 tells you that pestilence,
Right.
talks about pestilence and disease, like they came with their diseases from Europe.
Even his men were dying of diseases. He died from a disease.
Right, they were dying from disease because they were filthy people. So they were giving diseases knowingly, unknowingly to the people. They were dying off from the people were dying off because we weren't a diseased people in that way. We went off from the Most High, and we were diseased in the spirit, worshiping other gods. Because don't get it twisted. When we were in these islands, we had a god for every day. We worshiped the sun, we worshiped the moon, the air, the stars, the dirt. We worship. If it was there to worship, we had a god for it.
Fine.
So the punishment, it still doesn't fit the punishment. You see what I'm saying? The crime did not fit the punishment. That's why, real fast, go to Obadiah. I gotta bring this one because go to Obadiah 10. You got it? Oh, you got a lot though.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see.
Yeah. Obadiah 10. Read it.
Obadiah 10. For thy violence against thy brother
For
Jacob.
the what?
Against thy brother Jacob.
Yeah, for the violence. Now remember, the Most High said he was going to send this nation on us. Right? Didn't he not say in Deuteronomy, I'm going to send them? But the more he had to come back and say, listen, for the violence, go ahead.
Shame shall cover thee.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And thou shalt be what?
Cut off forever.
Right. This is why Esau, this is why Esau ain't got no place for repentance with the Most High, because they took it too far. Watch. Go ahead.
Verse 11. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces,
Right.
and foreigners entered into his gates.
Right, because when you go through our captivities, when you understand where Esau was in proximity to Israel, they lived right under us. Mount Esau and Seir and Bozrah was here. Northern kingdom, southern kingdom, or northern kingdom, southern kingdom was here. Moab is over here. There was a time when the Babylonians came in, and they came up to grab us. They came in, and our people were fleeing to the south, and Esau was sitting right there, gathering us up, and took us right across to the Babylonians. So, not just for their violence, but for the fact that when we was getting, as our brother, because that's what they are, when we were getting ransacked by these nations, they didn't help. Go ahead.
And cast lot upon Jerusalem.
Read.
Even thou wast as one of them.
Yeah, you see that? You see that Esau was as one of the nations.
Oh man, probably worse.
Read verse 12.
But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger.
Read.
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
And that's what they did, man. That's what they do to this day. They rejoice.
Right.
Got some good old Negroes for sale. Right? Got some strong Negro men, women, and children for sale. They happy. They're happy to have you. Listen, man, if you think that they ain't happy to have ghettos and slums, if you think they ain't happy to pump drugs into your community, then you're mistaken.
Love it.
They love that there's a separation between you and them. Because if there's always a separation between us and them, for now, they're always going to be on top. They love to have that foot on your neck. Go ahead, read.
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Right.
Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Verse 13.
Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people.
Because they did it. 70 AD, they went in, right? Before that, the time of the Maccabees, Judas Maccabees, they went into Jerusalem with blatant slaughter on their minds, and they destroyed the city, the temple, the people. Go ahead.
And the day of their calamity,
Right?
yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity,
Read.
nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Right. Go ahead, verse 14.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway.
Right? Because that's what they did. At the time of the Babylonians, they stood in the way where we could escape. They stood there and blocked it off and said, nope, we're going to take you right to Babylon. Read.
To cut off those of his that did escape.
Read.
Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Go ahead.
For the day of the Most High is near upon all the heathen,
Read.
as thou hast done.
Right? As what?
As thou hast done.
Come on.
It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Yeah, man. And that's going to be... I feel sorry for them. Where we at?
We're gonna go to
You know, it's interesting when you were bringing about this what they were doing. It made me think of how today you got psychological warfare that they play on us, but then that biochemical warfare. So that's like the shots, all these
The
things,
shots, the food, music, the media.
It's a biochemical, and then there's another psychological biochemical.
Or like the different types of warfare. The
Like
spiritual warfare. I mean,
spiritual.
they hitting us with this. They're hitting us from every angle. That's the thing about this vile man, where they're hitting us from every angle, but it's our fault because the wisdom is here. Wisdom cried out. The wisdom is here for us to wake up and see it. And a lot of our people, man, I'm gonna say this, and y'all gotta understand this. A lot of people just don't want to see it. It ain't nothing personal when your mama don't want to take the scriptures from you, or when your wife don't want to hear the Bible, or when your uncle, or when your grandpa, or this person or that. They just don't care. A lot of people don't understand the condition that they're in. A lot of our people are good with how their life is. Mediocre, 9 to 5, no hope for the future, no care for the past. Like, a lot of them just don't care. So they don't care about what they eat, what they drink, and how it affects them. They don't care about what they watch and how it affects them. But you gotta see where you'll have a woman that'll sit there and watch a show like The Bachelor. Your mama will watch The Bachelor and she'll love The Bachelor, but what's The Bachelor doing? He got like 15 women that he's dealing with, but then she'll ridicule you because you're in a relationship with a man that has more than one wife. Think about the mentality on that. She'll love The Bachelor, but The Bachelor got 15 wives.
Right.
But then she'll come down on you as her daughter because you're dealing with a man that got more than one wife, or you're in a situation where more than one wife can happen. Think about the psychology of that. America pumps it one way, but then the Bible says it, but then it's like, no, I don't want to take the Bible's way. I want to listen to The Bachelor or the Bachelorette, right? She got a bunch of mans. They'll glorify it one way, but then we talk about it here like, no, don't do that. And it's like, no, well, America says it's fine to be a hoe. You got to see the psychology, man. What do you call it?
Psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare, yeah. But that's how they hit you in the mental, the TV and radio. You know. So what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, you know how like cancer and stuff is on the rise, right?
Uh huh.
So Let me see if any of y'all can guess like what's one of the main things that's giving us cancer. Let me see. Like anybody got
Monsanto?
Right here.
got Monsanto? Bam.
Oh, the telephone. Oh yeah.
The
And
phone.
You paid $1,000 for cancer. But let me go get that iPhone.
Cancer. Yeah,
Let me go get that Android.
Because just think about it, right? Just think about it. How is your phone getting signal? Like, what is it?
Radiation.
Radiation. Your phone emits radiation. So this radiation is emitted. The cell towers, they all emit radiation. So that's how you're able to pick up signal. That is how you're able to pick up signal. It's like say I have a Bluetooth speaker, and it's like 7 feet away. How's the Bluetooth speaker getting the signal from your phone? It's radiation. That speaker emits radiation. Your phone emits radiation. So it's like two big circles. So now they're colliding. So now the signal can be shared because it's in the same vicinity. Now think about it. You have your phone, which is emitting radiation. It's right here. Think about all the people that have the Bluetooths. Which I know, but you got the Bluetooth right here.
I love my Bluetooth.
But you don't you're not wearing it now, but think about the people that you see, they just got it on 24/7. It's 24/7 right here. And that stuff is emitting radiation right all over your head. And the signal on that is strong. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say Steve Jobs, the inventor of the iPad, doesn't let his kids use the iPad.
Look at that.
That tells you something.
He doesn't want it.
He doesn't let his own kids use the iPad.
Because he said why it's gonna mess them up. He knows it's gonna program them into a certain. They're gonna turn into an iPad. That's what them electronics do.
Okay. So we're gonna jump to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 12. There was a lot more things that I wanted to hit. Y'all ever heard about it's like the internet, but it's like another
Yeah,
internet.
the dark net.
dark
dark
web.
Y'all ever heard about the dark web?
Dark
Deep
web.
web.
Yeah.
Like the dark web, listen, man, they do some crazy stuff on the dark web.
That's like if you want like
They still skinning babies.
yeah. That's if you want like that's like where they go for sex trade and porn and kilos of coke and
Yeah.
guns and yeah. You get on the dark web.
You want to see somebody decapitated? You want to see a
Yeah.
baby skinned?
They'll do
You
it
want
right
to see
there on
them
the dark
pour
web.
acid on a baby
If
or
you
a
want to
woman?
see somebody raped, all that they'll do it right there via webcam on the dark web. Yeah.
With the Texas Chainsaw Massacre type stuff. If you want to see any of that, dark web. Dark web. So don't go on it though. I don't. It's yeah. I wouldn't
I don't know
recommend
how
going on it.
I
I've
don't know
never
how
been
you
on
get
it.
to
I
it.
just heard about it.
I don't even know how you get to it.
Yeah. It's like something that you have to do with your computer where you change like the code. Every computer has a
Dark web access.
like an internet access code.
Oh, IP address.
So you change like your IP address where it's like when you go on there, it's like you're anonymous. So that's how you're able to buy
a
certain things.
VPN blocker. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Block your VPN. Blah,
So
blah,
they
blah.
won't know.
But think about that. Think about this though. Think about it. Why would anybody allow that to run?
Exactly.
Why would anybody allow that to run? Like you mean to tell me that there's not enough technology to shut down that side of the internet? Think about it. Like why would you allow babies to be skinned in 2019 on live TV? Or somebody to be raped or beheaded or decapitated or drugs to be traded just openly with Bitcoin.
With all like the CIA and stuff like that.
CIA, FBI, Alphabet Boys, all that. And you mean to tell me you can't shut this down?
Yeah.
They don't want it shut down. They want their filth to be out there.
They're the ones that be on there too.
You said 2 Maccabees what?
We're gonna go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 12.
2 Maccabees 6 verse 12.
Go ahead.
Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities.
So yeah, don't be discouraged because of the things that we've been through that the Most High put us through. No reason to be discouraged. Go ahead.
But that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation.
So the Most High didn't do all that to destroy us. It was a correction. If the Most High wanted to destroy us, listen, Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, hands down, it's still burning to this day. What's gonna happen to America? If the Most High wanted to destroy us, we're gonna watch and see what happens to America. But this is just a correction, but it's going to go into why not to be discouraged about the correction. Go ahead.
For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time.
So listen, when we're wicked and the Most High corrects us, bro, you better be happy. Because the scripture says that whom the Most High loves, he chasteneth those who he receives and those who he loves.
He scourges every son.
So if you ain't getting corrected or chastened, he don't care about you. You're a bastard. If you sitting here and you making it, Most High ain't doing nothing to you, like your Lil Waynes, your Futures, your Jay-Z, your Beyoncés, Most High ain't, you're wicked as hell and Most High ain't doing nothing to you, you're a bastard. He don't care, but just think about your child. If your child was acting up, you'll punish your child so that he can stop or she can stop. Because you got love for them. Go ahead.
For
Stay with the reader.
Verse 13.
For it is a token of his great goodness
Go ahead.
when wicked doers are not suffered any long time.
Go ahead.
Forthwith punished.
Go ahead.
For not as with other nations.
See, the Most High don't do us like other nations. So if you be thinking like, man, the Most High, you put us through slavery, you took our land from us, you put us under these Edomites, these other nations, but you will never do nothing to them. But you always do something to us. But it's telling you. Read verse 14 from the top.
For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish me.
So it's like the Most High is like, nah, not yet. Not yet. I don't want to slap you yet. When I slap you, I'm gonna wear like some spiked gloves or something. It's like when something's irritating you and you don't check it. The anger just keeps building and building and building until you explode. That's what the Most High is doing with them. Go ahead.
Till they become to the fullness of their sins. So dealeth he with us.
Go ahead.
Least that, being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance on us.
So the Most High, he checks us. He checks us as soon as we do something wrong. He checks us. Because if he doesn't check us, then what's gonna happen? We're gonna get wickeder and wickeder and wickeder, and this anger is gonna get wax hot and hot and hot until the punishment that we get is so severe. So severe, like what happened to us with all these things that we just read. So when you mess up, or when you step out the spirit, and the Most High corrects you, Most High loves you. He's with you. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us.
Because that's a form of mercy right there. When he punishes us, I'm not gonna say punish, but when he corrects us.
It is a form of mercy because remember when David numbered Israel, he said the devil provoked David, he numbered Israel, and David had a punishment. He had 3 things to choose from. It was a plague, the sword of his enemies, or fall into the hands of the Most High. What did he say? He said, I'm going to fall in the hands of the Most High because the Most High got mercy. He got checked, right? He still got checked. He still had to deal with what the Most High brought, but the Most High wasn't going to utterly just destroy David or the people. So when the Most High, even, think about it, man. Think about all that blacks and Hispanics have been through just being here in America, and you like, damn, man. No people could be able to withstand the wrath that we've been through. Nobody would really, come on, if the roles were reversed, you think Esau would, bro, we would have wiped them out. 200 years ago, they would have been wiped off the map because they're a weaker people. And they don't got the Most High behind them, checking them, but also making sure that they're preserved. Remember, if the Most High put his full vengeance down, he said he would consume the sons of Jacob. But he does have to check us, but he still makes sure that we're preserved in a way where, the prophecies could be fulfilled, man, that we can be around. 7,000 men that were reserved, that would not bow the knee, right? That would push forth the righteousness. So you got to see it, even though we get checked and dealt with, it seems harshly because it is harsh. the Most High still got mercy on us. Right? Did you finish it up?
La.
Go ahead.
And though he punished with adversities, yet doeth he never forsake his people.
Yeah, he don't forsake us, man. Go to 2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 44. Give me a comment, y'all got it? 2nd Ezra chapter 4 verse 44. And then after this, I'll just have one more.
2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 44.
Go ahead.
Then answered I and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, if it be possible, and if it be meet, therefore, show me then whether there be more to come than is past.
So this is Ezra's. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so this is Ezra's, right? And when you're reading this book of 2nd Ezra's, Ezra's is going through turmoil because he's looking at the state of our people, and you know, he's like, man, the Most High, like it's like this. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing but be like unto spittle, and as like the abundance of them unto a drop that fall from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn. Oh, slot, verse 59. That's what I was trying to get to. No, I was trying to just read this, but I started from the top. Yeah.
Right.
If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance for the world? So Ezra is asking, like, why, if the world was made for our sakes, why do we live the way we live? Why do we go through the things that we go through? So he's asking this angel, and the angel is pretty much giving him a parable or a vision. Go ahead.
Or more past than is to come.
So Ezra is asking, is there what's going to happen in the future? Is it going to get worse? Is it going to get better? Like, what's going on? Read.
2nd Ezra chapter 4 verse 46. What is past I know, but what is to come I know not.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, stand up upon the right side, and I shall expound the similitude unto thee.
Go ahead.
So I stood and saw, and behold, a hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remaineth still.
So it's just like when we burn the candles, right? The candles burn, but when the candles are gone, you got some residue of the candles that's left. When we burn frankincense, just if anything gets burned, you have the little bit of residue that remains. Go ahead.
After this, there passed by before me a watery cloud, and I sent down much rain with the storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops still remained.
So you got a thunderstorm, a hurricane, but the worst of the storm is gone, but then you still have a couple drops that's remaining, right? Go ahead.
Then said he unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke. But the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed.
So pretty much, when you look at what we went through during slavery, are we still going through stuff? Yes. The residue of the fire still remains. The residue of the rain still remains. The residue of slavery and of us being conquered still remains. But the smoke, but the worst is past. Am I saying that it's going to get worse? The scripture tells you that we still got a lot to go through. We still got a whole lot to go through still.
Because truthfully, they found a way, when you go through the laws, their amendments, they found a way to keep you a slave when you're in jail. When you're in jail, you're technically considered a slave, black men. So slavery hasn't been completely abolished.
Yeah.
Right? So even on that level of slavery, yeah, you're not getting, how they whipped you in slavery. They're not doing that in jail, but there's other things that go on in jail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They bringing back the chain gang in jail. Were they working on the railroads? They make them work on the railroads again, but they also make them go farm.
Yep. So
they're bringing back that slave mentality, like in Mississippi and places like that.
Right.
But they can do it legally because you're a warden of the state. You're property of the state. Slavery is considered legal now if you're in jail.
Got it.
So we gotta be aware of those things also.
Got it.
But it's not. But the thing is, going with the scripture, it's not the same way. It's not as bad. It's not as atrocious
Got it.
as it once was.
Got it. Like, are we still slaves, God? But we can get, like the scripture says, Jacob, Judah is going to be in the neck of his enemies.
Right.
So we get certain positions, but we'll never be the head.
And even in that, that's mental slavery. Like
Right.
Colin Powell is a mental slave. Condoleezza Rice and all the
Omarosa.
Omarosa. Who's that?
Is that her name?
Condoleezza Rice or Omarosa? You talking about the reality star?
Oh, is that? I thought. What was that black chick? That's what. Trump.
Harris.
That's Omarosa. But that was from like the Apprentice.
No, I thought she was still in the White House.
She was never in the White House. Was she?
She was.
Yeah, she came back and was like,
With Trump?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, listen. Is there any questions? I'm done. When I heard, I'm finished. I'm done. She was really in the White House.
Yes.
But she's a reality star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Trump is just a reality star too, so it's not far fetched. Yeah. Kim Kardashian was in the White House, so they let anybody up in there.
Yeah.
Got it.
Was that it?
Nah, this is the last one.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I was about to say, that is nuts.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 27.
Go ahead.
Stand corrected.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 27. Behold, the days come, said the Lord,
Oh, you can read it
that I will show the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man.
Where we at?
though. It's Jeremiah 31:27.
27.
Yeah, you can read it. Try to look. There was no, 31:7.
31. So,
Yeah.
Yes, it was good.
Even though that was a good one too.
Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
For thus said the Lord, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of all of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel.
Read.
Behold, I will bring them from the north country,
Most High is gonna bring us from where?
the north country,
Go ahead.
and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither.
That's it. Salakia. That's actually not the one I wanted either. The one that I wanted, it said that no longer would it said that would it be said that the Lord of hosts brought forth the children of Israel from the land of Egypt. But it's going to say that the Most High, the Lord of hosts, brought forth the children of Israel from the north country and North America. It's gonna when that day comes, just like now we be like, oh yeah, the Most High brought us from Egypt. We always refer to Egypt over our biggest captivity. It's the same way. Like later on in the kingdom, we gonna refer to instead of referring to Egypt, we gonna be referring to back to America. The Most High brought us forth from America. Yeah, it's in Jeremiah. I thought that was it because it said the north country, but Salaki on that. Oh look, it's Jeremiah 16:15. It says, "But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the Lord, from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers." That's a future prophecy.
Exactly.
That's a future prophecy. So that last one was Jeremiah chapter 16.
16.
16 and 15.
16 and 15.
Yeah, you got to read verse 14.
Yeah, verse 14.
I'll read it. It says, "Therefore, behold," Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days cometh, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
So no longer will we say that. Go ahead.
Why? Because, like he said, Egypt was, you got to understand what happened at Egypt, the way the Most High delivered us. You know, the 10 plagues, the Red Sea, the wilderness, all these different miracles, if you want to call them miracles. So we look at that as the biggest feat.
Yeah.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he driven them, and will bring them again into their land that he gave unto their fathers. Yeah. Yeah, that's the prophecy.
The land of the north, North America, and from everywhere else. Because the Israelites are mainly in North America.
Yeah,
Or the continent.
And he will bring them into the land that he gave their fathers.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna get our land back. Remember the kingdom.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our land back. So,
You know, I gotta find the scripture, but I was reading. It's either in Jeremiah, Ezekiel, or Isaiah, but it said that the Most High is gonna part the sea again. You're gonna walk through just like you left Egypt. I gotta find it.
any questions? Got a little class. Slavery classes, man. And history classes. This ain't that history they teach you in
School.
school. This ain't that 5th grade history. This ain't even that college history. They be hating. They be lying.
Oh yeah.
Any questions on that class? Anything online? You're correct. I was a state. Yeah, I didn't even. This is the scripture I was looking for. Oh, okay. I think you found the stop of scripture that you've been looking for a while. I was trying to look for it too. Okay. Nothing online. It's 10. It's 10:10. So I guess we'll end it. We'll be back Friday, 6 to 9. Everybody online. We'll be back Saturday online from 10 to 2. All right, but we'll be here we'll be here 6 to 9. Old school, no camera. So if you're gonna be here for class, be on time. Wait. Are there any scriptures that support forbidding the consumption of fish on Fridays? No. As long as it's the only scripture that talk about not eating fish, when you go to Leviticus, it's talking about eating unlawful fish. You gotta have scales and fins, but there's nothing that says you can't eat fish on Friday. Remember, the Jewish people believe that you can't eat meat and cheese together. That's wrong. They believe that you can't eat meat and cheese together. So they got a lot of things wrong. And we can't get caught up in, I don't care what they say. First of all, they cut their hair off and wear wigs to fit a prophecy that our women fit naturally. So I don't care what the hell they're talking about. They're wrong. The rabbis are wrong. Everything they do is wrong. They cover their heads when they pray. That's wrong. It's off. It's not according to the Bible. There's nothing that says you can't eat fish on Friday. Nothing that says that. All right? Yeah, that's it. That's it. We'll be back Friday, 6 to 9. Let's salute them online. Let's say shalom.
Shalom.
Everybody else, Aymadim Wapanya, Yerushalayim, rise and face the east.
Taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie. Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai.